Hey, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. We got myself, T, and we got Bree and Trish on the line with us today. How are you guys doing?
Great.
I'm glad you're
I'm
feeling
good
better,
too.
Trish.
Thank you. I am. Yes. How are y'all doing?
Oh, we're good. It's just been busy, 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 busy for me for the last couple weeks. So,
Yeah, you've been vacationing and just and trying to get back to all the normal stuff. And you had tornadoes a few weeks ago. Everything.
This life is crazy, you guys.
I
Yes.
I know. And you know what? They have been in this chat. Some of them, a couple of them, have been in this chat since about 6:30 my time.
Cool.
Whoa.
You guys.
Yeah, they are excited to talk about this week. I mean, I gotta say, it got Young and the Restless for me. It was pretty interesting today. Thursday was just a snooze fest. I'm sorry.
I forgot what happened Thursday.
I don't
Exactly.
remember either, you guys.
It was a snooze fest, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, yeah, okay. Now, Bold is irritating this week, so
You mean Hope is irritating this week?
no,
Truly.
Katie is too.
Oh,
So
truly.
and
Yeah.
RJ.
Oh my gosh. He is Brook's son. For real.
Y'all, the seats to be had.
I know, right? Oh
He
my
can't hold
goodness.
air. Can't hold water, air, nothing.
And I was so pro RJ, and now I'm like, dump him.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to it, but you're talking about a betrayal of trust. Now, granted, Luna shouldn't have said anything either, but she told him, and he went and told all of the, told Katie, and the rest is like a domino effect. So,
Yeah, it's almost like that old saying, can you keep a secret? Yes. Can you? And then nobody says a word.
I know. Oh my goodness. Yes, Vicky said, never let Katie Logan know your secrets. No, she can't hold water either. All right, welcome you guys to Soap Corner Talk, where it's T, Bree, and Trish tonight. Keisha is traveling today, and she's in the area where she really don't have good signal, so she didn't want to have a choppy live with her today, and that's understandable. So enjoy yourself or whatever you're doing out there. Keish, you sound kind of muffled, Trish.
Oh, I'm sorry. It might be the piece of lettuce. I apologize. I'm trying to finish dinner. I was so hungry and I didn't have time to eat beforehand. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. I just thought maybe your mic was, your phone speaker was covered or something. All right, so welcome you guys. We are going to do the Young and the Restless in the first half of the show. We do the Bold and the Beautiful in the second half of the show, and then we have a few segments afterwards. Flip the script. Who's taking several seats? And the pickle of the week, and well, the star of the week, and then the pickle of the week. So, um, make sure. How many people are in here, Bree? Can you tell? Bree,
70.
is Bree still with us? Are you on mute, girl? Okay.
I hit mute by accident. I'm sorry. Yeah, we almost 70 people in the chat.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, make sure. Let's get about 50 likes, you guys. I mean, that's a little bit above 50% engagement. So let's see if we can get at least 50 likes in the chat. I appreciate you. It's likes are free. It just only take a second to hit that like button, and it lets YouTube know that the content that we're doing over here is enjoyable. So, Paris says, welcome back, Trish. We miss you.
Thank you so much. I missed y'all too, man, from the hurricane. And then we had a visitor in town, and then I was sick. So I'm so excited to be back with you guys.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back too. So
Thank you.
Yes, good, good, good. All right, so without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with our storylines that we got to break down for The Young and the Restless for the week of August 5th through August 9th. And let's see here. Give me a second so I can pull it up. Alrighty. Okay. So, for The Young and the Restless, for the week of the 5th through the 9th, we have Jack and Diane celebrating their anniversary. Heather is concerned about her daughter's lies as Lucy starts drinking at the concert. Lily tells Billy he's out at Chancellor. Lucy confesses to drinking, and Cameron Kirsten tells Sharon she needs him. Adam and Sally grieve for Ava. Billy gets an idea after fighting with Lily, and Kyle and Summer fight about Harrison. Billy's decision stuns Lily. Now this is Thursday, so if you need, here's your refresher, because to me, Billy's decision stuns Lily. Kyle accelerates the custody hearing, and Billy's even more suspicious of Adam. And then Phyllis and Diane argue over who's the worst mother. Victor mediates between Summer and Kyle, and Devon and Abby set a wedding date. We might as well get Devon and Abby out the way since it was a very small segment. Anything you got on those two?
I'm just waiting for one of them to go ahead and cheat. I'm so sick of them trying to and this is just me personally, I don't really see the chemistry. I feel like they keep throwing in these romantic scenes. Like they had the date night over at Neil's bar, and then they had the little park thing where they set the wedding date, and that's fine, but I don't know, it's just missing some fun and excitement and intensity. Even the love scene was just lackluster.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I wanted so badly to be a fan of this relationship because they both need a good, positive relationship. But it's just I just don't see the chemistry either. And I know on the chat earlier, Jay Money had mentioned he definitely sees the chemistry, but I just don't see it. Do y'all see it in the chat? Do you guys see it? I don't see it.
I mean, I don't know. The whole thing, I think they just came together for, in my opinion, for, I was going to call the little boy Harrison, Dominic. For Dominic. And, the whole thing of how it happened, they both cheated on Abby was married. And Devon was in a relationship with Amanda. And like Bree and I always say, when you start out on BS, which they started out on this relationship through cheating, it usually ends the same way or close to the same way it started.
Yeah. You have said that since I first met you. And I believe you.
I mean, you can't that's why I said the same thing about the whole thing with Billy and Sally. Because, I mean, Billy and Chelsea started on him cheating on Lily. And then we all know the triangular dynamic between Adam, Sally, and his brother Nicholas. And that whole thing was just ridiculous to me. I couldn't stand that storyline at the time. And I was pretty much, that's what really just did it for me to end my fascination with Adam and Sally. Because, originally I was like, man, they're hot together. It's great. And then they went with that.
Right.
So, I mean, so now on the flip side, granted, I'm not condoning cheating at all. Because, I mean, technically, they're in two separate relationships, and Adam and Chelsea cheated on Billy and Sally. But look how y'all started out.
Yeah. And I feel like Abby is probably going to be the one that's going to step out, because she was originally, when they got engaged, she was the one who was paranoid about something's going to go wrong. He's not a stable person relationship wise, neither am I. Well, I'm paraphrasing on, but and very valid points. So it wouldn't surprise me if she steps out and be the cause of their breakup, but I honestly feel Victor's going to be the cause of the relationship breaking up.
Yeah, it might not even be cheating. I mean, anytime you are attached to that family, which Summer says something really stupid to her mother today, of course he's going to use his family members to get what they want. And that includes in-laws. And he already called a favor in for Devon last week, and the guy ain't even married to his daughter yet. So I wouldn't be surprised somewhere down the road he asked Devon to do something that goes against what Devon wants to do, and then now it's a whole problem.
Yeah, that would
agree with you.
Sorry about that.
Well, you on? What happened? You were on mute.
I was, and then when I realized it, right when I pushed the unmute was right whenever Bree started talking. I am so sorry. I just didn't want y'all to have to listen to me chewing.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't understand any of that. Like it. Come on, writers. Come on.
Which part? Trish.
I mean.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Did you mute yourself again?
She might have. I think she.
We lost her. She'll pop back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Hello. Yep. Sorry.
That's okay. Now, what were you saying?
Thank you. I am so sorry, y'all. I dropped my phone, and then I've lost my train of thought completely. I am so sorry. I cut myself off, had to come back on.
You were talking about the whole flow. You were upset about something with the writers.
Just some of these storylines are just so disjointed and forced, and it just seems like there's so many opportunities to write something good. I mean, we come up with great ideas all the time, and we're not even in the writing room.
Right. Exactly. What you got, Bree?
I know. They need to cut a check for us. I agree. I just want the other shoe to drop when it comes to Devon looking up to Victor, because, and I feel like, especially since he's becoming more intertwined with the Newman fold, something's going to go awry with him, or he's going to, like you guys were saying, go against Victor's wishes, same way Chance and Nate have, and they both were also with Abby at the same time. It's just going to have to kind of boil down to, like, once he screws up, then he's going to finally see Victor for who he is. Otherwise, he's just going to kiss, his feet as he walks, and Victor can do no wrong. But once you get involved with any of Victor's kids, he's going to find a way to manipulate, try to use you as a pawn. He has no idea he's already a chess piece right now, especially when it comes over to Chancellor, trying to finesse Lily to leave.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's not like Devon didn't see this happen with Neil and his relationship with Victor. I mean, Neil and Victor had a couple of big fallings out, so it's not like Devon doesn't know.
Yeah, and I mean, even from the recent experience with his own cousin, he went over there to ask Victor what happened with Nate. And of course, Victor played the card like, oh, he tried to get me to go to the doctor and send me away. And Nate was like, no, I was genuinely concerned about his health. I wasn't trying to get him out of the company. I don't have that kind of power. So, I mean, Devon has seen firsthand what has happened. Not only, I mean, even with Nate, when it comes to Nate dealing with Abby. Nate used to date Abby.
They were engaged.
That man almost lost his medical license at the time, fooling around with Victor Newman. So, I mean, if Devon want to sign up, I guess it's his turn to get his head bumped.
I agree. And I also want to point out, when Nate told him that story about why he got fired, Devon still believed Victor over Nate.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know why he wants to pedestalize Victor ever so badly. But as soon as Victor needs something, Abby's going to talk in his ear and be like, "You need to help my dad, Devon, please." And then watch, it's going to be the end of their relationship, guaranteed.
Yep. That's
I don't
probably.
doubt it.
Go ahead. What you say, Trish?
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I honestly believe if it's not cheating, it's gonna be Victor.
Hmm.
Victor always come in between his kids' relationship, all of them. And another relationship he's in the middle of right now is, well, out because that was at the end of the week. Um, we also got to talk about Lucy and her drinking at that concert. Now, what's interesting about this storyline is that they took us so far. She started drinking, you know, Faith caught her and brought her back home. And then she admitted to it to her dad. And then Faith told Sharon. Where are we going with this storyline? Because I thought maybe something was going to happen. I know, Bree, you've been predicting things when it comes to maybe something happening to Lucy. And everybody got home safe and told the truth. And they just left it right there.
I still think something's going to happen to that girl. And they keep like highlighting the fact they used a ride share. Well, maybe the next time that Lucy drinks, they don't use a ride share. And either she's driving or Faith's driving. Something's going to happen where they're going to recreate that Cassie storyline. Something's going to happen to where they're both in a car, but I don't think it's going to be a ride share this time. I was surprised she told her dad the truth. I was expecting her to tell another lie, but okay, she told the truth this time around. But she also hinted at the fact that she's going to make it up to Faith. What that means, I honestly don't know. And to be honest, I feel like she's going to keep insinuating herself into Faith's life. And I feel like it's either going to be a party or something to where it's going to be a extreme, but they're getting all the original characters involved that there were for Cassie's storyline. They keep, and I hate to say it, they're Kim testing Daniel and Sharon.
Daniel and
I
Sharon.
think so too.
Yeah.
Daniel and Sharon?
Yes. They're Kim testing those two.
I'm sorry, I don't see that at all.
And there's some fans who want this.
I don't. You saw a Kim test between Daniel and Sharon.
They've been in several scenes now together, and just the fact that they're sharing all this, and for whatever reason, Sharon feels comfortable talking to Daniel, even with the feelings that she had for what happened with Cassie and his involvement in it. The fact, this comfortability, he wants to try to be there for her, and she's being open and everything. And I thought it was me, and I was looking at other comments, and it's like, oh, they are Kim testing. I'm like, okay, so I'm not going crazy. That I feel, and it will be very weird and odd in a soapy kind of way, how they both would lose. They both could, let's say Daniel loses Lucy. They both would have that same sort of grief to bond over. So I really wouldn't put it past the writers to do that. But I do see they were Kim testing a little bit with those two. And plus, who else has Sharon not been with?
Maya said every time somebody shares a scene makes it a Kim test. LOL.
I do see what you're saying.
I just don't see it. And in the spoilers for the week of the 12th through the 16th, there's nothing to even conflate to anything happening with the Lucy storyline or anything related to Daniel and Sharon.
And wasn't he trying to work with her or trying to get a job or something with her?
I don't know that it was so much a job as he wanted to create something for her like what he did for himself. But I know what you're talking about with the whole Kim test thing, because I felt like they did the eye contact a little bit long. They did the, that back and forth glance thing. They did that, and they usually do those kind of shots whenever they're Kim testing. And the other thing I thought was, whether or not they do something that recreates everything with Cassie, I think part of the fallout for Lucy is going to be the fact that Faith is going to reject her because she, lied to Faith, went to, did the concert, did the drinking thing, and Faith isn't going to even accept her to be around her anymore, I think. But I don't know for sure, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think Lucy, not having any other friends, is going to just have possibly a meltdown. So we'll see what happens. But I really don't want another mental health story at the moment. I'm hoping for something different, but we'll see.
Oh well, we're gonna be stuck in this one for a while.
Yeah.
In the chat, how many? Put a 1 in the comment section if you think that there was, or you saw that there was a possible Kim test with Daniel and Sharon, and put a 2 if you didn't see anything. I'm curious to kind of get an idea. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you guys saw something that both Trish and Bree saw. So 1 yes, 2 no. If you think there's a Kim test there.
I feel that there was. Same way they've been contesting Sally and Billy for the longest. It's like, why are they in their scenes together unless eventually they're going to be put together? I'm trying to think of who else they.
Somebody
they were
said
contesting.
-2. That was Monique. Monique put a -2 down there. That's a lot of 2s.
There's a few 1s, but much more 2s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll see.
I saw maybe a little bit of a Kim test between Daniel and Tessa.
Oh, they've been doing that frequently as well.
I could see maybe that was a Kim test with them because, but I just picked up the fact that they have a mutual situation with regards to their children and the fact of him having the involvement with Cassie's death. But that's just me. So
I hope that's all it is, because I really don't want to see them two together.
And as for Sharon's storyline, I know what is his first name? Lyndon Ashby did a little bit of an interview talking about how he's going to be around in Sharon's head and helping, I guess, sort through this thing. But there are times that she's going to maybe spiral with doing things that she's not supposed to. So maybe it could play into what you guys see if they're going to go that route. I don't know. But he's going to, I know Trish was saying how she, and I agree with you, we've had back to back mental health storylines. It's like, can we get a break?
It's exhausting.
And for this one to be now had, and you got a man with a bloody shirt continuously walking around showing up, it's like, really, writers, can we please get a break? Ashley's still in the clinic over in Paris. Connor just got home and he's still fighting his triggers, which he's doing a good job at it. We haven't heard too much on Nikki's alcoholism. And, the other stories. Chelsea, she's in the middle of a spiral because of the fact that she's cheating, but it's triggering things that she's already been working on. So it's like, can we, let's get back. I like the corporate takeovers. Give us a little bit of romance. You're giving us more of a mental health storylines than romantic ones.
Right? What's the deal with that?
I know. It sucks because you could have, even though some of us are lukewarm toward Abby and Devon, you could have gave us a full scene. You gave us a full scene with Chelsea and Adam. And who was the person after that? Oh, Audra and Nate. We had been waiting on that. I know not Bree, but we have been
Right.
we have been waiting on that because they left us hanging when she was about to climb on top of Nate, and Tucker walked in the room, and then they revisited 3 months later or whatever. And you give us a swing to the bed, and then the next day they at breakfast. Okay, that's all we get, really. So I don't know. I guess they see more of that than that. So anyway, um, y'all got anything else on this whole storyline with Faith and Sharon and Cameron and Lucy and Daniel?
I just don't see why Mariah, at this point, like, she would be the other person with some form of authority to try to, like, hey, like, let's really get her doctor involved. I'm just a little upset that they were just fine with her just going on a vacation just to, work through her issues.
Mm-hmm.
And they were okay with the fact that she's like, yeah, I'm off my pills, off my meds, and you know what? I think it's a good thing. I get to work through all my issues so the way I want to. I'm like, that does not sound like a stable person to me. But okay.
Yeah. I don't know which one, that her saying that or Nikki saying that she can navigate her own sobriety and picking her own sponsor. I mean,
Yeah.
it never works when you're the person that's going through something. You need somebody outside of yourself that is not connected to help you through this. I mean, yes, you're going to have the support of your family, but as a professional, yeah, I don't think you can. It's just like trying to diagnose yourself.
Yeah. And she was also trying to diagnose herself when she was talking to Nick. He was like, what would you tell one of your patients or people you're trying to help? She's like, well, I think you're going through this, this, and this. So you have enough common sense to diagnose yourself, but not want to take your meds
Well,
or
wait a
at least
minute,
reach out to your
girl.
doctor.
Check this out. Look at what you just said. When he said, well, what would you tell your patients? And she said, I would tell them this, that, and the third. You remember right after that, she was like, oh, that's just all talk. Remember she said that?
Yeah.
So when you're helping your patients, you just giving them fluff just to tell them what you think they should hear, but you really don't believe in it yourself? Yeah.
But everyone calls on her for therapy advice or a therapy referral or something.
Right. Make that make sense.
There's no way.
There's no way you can do that. And then you got the man who you stabbed in the chest helping you through this in your head.
It's insulting. It really is. It's insulting. And I know that the characters want to have their parts and they want their screen time. But, there have to be times where some of these actors look at these pages and go, are you kidding me? Like, I have to make this look real? Like, I have to make, really? This is what you're writing for me today? Thanks. Give me my check, I guess. Let me just go do this and get out of here.
Yeah, I guess him and Susan go to work together at least. Hey, we get to ride and to work together.
Right.
All right. So let's move on to this whole situation with Sally and Adam. Sally was mourning the anniversary or so. It's been a year now that they lost Ava. And she was telling Billy, like that scene in the top corner of the picture, about the fact that she thinks that he pushed it away because he's focused on Connor, which he did admit to. Yeah. But I honestly believe that he's also focused on keeping that secret.
For sure. You don't want that to come out.
Nope. Go ahead, Bree.
I felt for Sally, because it's not. I can only imagine what it's like to lose a child, and that was a very peculiar situation, because that was really in Adam's hands, and he had the choice to save the baby or save Sally. and I'm glad that they moved past that, but I understand her feelings as far as like missing her daughter, what she would be doing, and like I feel for her in that regard. And the fact that she was waiting for Adam to say something in regards to that loss, but he's so wrapped up in what happened with Connor, which is also understandable, that he forgot what happened. But I'm glad that they shared that moment to try to at least grieve and remember their daughter that way.
Right.
You know, I love that Sally is being portrayed as just being a really good person right now, because I really like the character of Sally. She dealt with that with so much dignity and grace and class. I love that character.
I just wish that they would give her I mean, she did have a profound storyline last year. Obviously, it won her an Emmy for, the whole thing that happened at the hospital when she lost a child. So now that we're a year later, she's now on the back end of a cheating scandal. I mean, because prior to the whole thing with her losing the baby, that her and Adam was having, right before that, her biggest storyline was messing with the two brothers. And the girl is supposed to be a Spectra, and the Spectra was one of the legacy families or characters on The Bold and the Beautiful. If you're going to bring her over here, you need to utilize that name. I agree. You get what I'm saying? Or send her back to LA to let her cause trouble amongst the Spencers and the Forresters, like she was supposed to do originally.
Right. Once again, they let somebody go that we didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But I agree. I love the take that they're doing with Sally, and she's back to designing, which I'm glad too. And they have like completely did a 180 in comparison to last year. We were like, get Sally together. I love this character. I love the Spectras. I miss her aunt a lot. I just wondered what they're going to do from here, because like we pointed out, that Adam and Chelsea had a full love scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to eventually result in a pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's where I think it's going in. And I feel like with them bringing up Ava, because they didn't have to.
Right.
The fact that they brought that up, something tells me that that's going to be, they would have no choice but to say something. Otherwise, they would keep that secret to the grave if they could. But if she ends up pregnant, which I honestly feel she will, I think that's going to be a really big knife in Sally's back, particularly. I think Billy's going to move on from there. If he moves on with Sally, I guess that's okay. I'm not a fan of that pairing, but I really feel bad for Sally in that regard, especially if they have a daughter together.
So, what Bree was also referring to, because we kind of brought this up on the midweek chat on Wednesday evening, was the fact that why out of all of the love scenes that we've gotten, it's always been cut. So the love scenes always go to a certain extent, and the next time we'll see them either laying in bed with, maybe partial clothes on or something. But they gave us a full scene with Adam and Chelsea when they were in Baltimore, which is why we're maybe thinking the direction is that a pregnancy is going to come out of that. Because why would you give them, out of all of the scenes that you've had, a full scene where they're up against the wall and in the bed and everywhere else? They gave us the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to those two. So I'm wondering if a pregnancy is going to come out of that. And another thing, Bree, you mentioned on Wednesday was the timing of it all. Because if she popped pregnant after now this week grieving Ava, that's going to be a knife to the gut.
Yeah.
Yep. That's going to be rough. So, I mean, that's kind of brutal of the writers to go down that road, but this is a soap opera, so.
Exactly. It'd be very soapy.
Mm-hmm.
And for her, and Chelsea would have Adam's baby. Oh my goodness, I honestly feel it might be a daughter this time.
It could be.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the direction they might go in with her. But who knows? They've surprised us with a lot of different stuff on both shows. So, but I feel that that's the only reason why they gave like an extended love scene like that instead of like Nate and Audra or like all these other couples. I think that was to make a point that something is going to be a result of those two getting together.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Paris Barnes just brought it up. Say Chelsea does get pregnant, and she realizes it and happen to try to sleep with Billy and make it a who's the baby daddy situation. Just to keep that secret tight. But she tried that before, and what told the truth was that eye degeneration. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yep.
I mean, didn't she already try to trap Billy with a child?
Well, yeah, she did that. I mean, her and Billy technically have a child through Johnny, you know. But I mean, she's a con. I mean, she could. Lately, she hasn't acted like she was a con, but she originally came to this show as a con, as a grapist, and you know, I don't think they want to go that far back, but she could go into this thing where I better keep this a secret. This could blow up the world. We will have chaos. You know what? Let me sleep with Billy and, you know, make him think that he's the father. That's a soapy twist on top of being pregnant a year after the anniversary of Ava's being gone. So
Yeah, I mean, I honestly was so disgusted when Billy and Chelsea got together in the first place because of the history of everything. I just thought that was such a vile. No, no.
But they were a couple before too. Even after that happened, and Victoria adopted Johnny. I think like years later, it was like a different actor that played Billy. I think he had red hair. And they got together. So they've had like a relation. They've always circled her around him. So I think like the characters are so much alike. But I feel like with this particular go around, him saving her life and everything, and she's kind of reached out to him as like her calm, I guess. Like her being pregnant, she's going to be very much on edge, if not more than she already is. I think she would have no choice but to say like, hey, yeah, he and I did this. I don't think she would keep it from Billy. If she tries to trap him, that would look really stupid on her part. But I feel that she would have no choice but to say something. I think the guilt would just be too much for her. Right. And she already admitted to Connor, all she does is panic.
So I know people are saying, about, the fact that they were a couple and he did forgive her from that. All I was saying is how she came on the show. What her backstory was when she originated the character. So, and that's what I think Trish was referring to, because I mean, anytime you drug somebody and they're not conscious of what's going on, which was that whole gray area of what was happening over on Bold back in February with the Zende thing, but it means Zende didn't do it, he didn't put the substance or anything. It was all a mix up. But Chelsea, in her backstory from the original coming on the screen as Chelsea, that's how she started out. So that's why I had brought that up. But yeah, there has been progression. Oh, because she's been on the scene for what, a decade now?
A little over a decade.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of progression in that time period with that character, where we've seen, evolution of her and the different directions that they've taken her since she started on screen here.
And they've taken Billy in a lot of different directions too. And Jasmine had stated that Billy Miller was the original Billy. They had so many Billy recast on the show. They had Heather Tom's brother, who was like the teen Billy. Then they had Billy Miller, and I forget who that other guy, the guy with the red hair. That was the one who was paired with Chelsea when they had that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they brought on Jason Thompson. So they've changed and altered that guy's character quite a bit as well.
Yeah, but the one thing that was always constant, Adam and Billy cannot stand each other to this day, even on Monday's episode. So
Yeah, there's a reason.
see, there's a lot of bad blood between those two. And Monday's episode, if you haven't seen it, it is very good. It is very interesting. Summer will absolutely irritate you on Monday.
Her
And
and Kyle both are just irritated. They just irritated me for a couple of weeks now.
okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the storyline because I was going to talk about Lily and Billy and the whole taking a step back. But let's knock them out the way because I know this other story with this custody battle is going to be crazy and the mamas against the mamas and all this kind of stuff. What do you think about Lily's idea to tell Billy to take a step back or be in the background to keep people from sniffing around Chancellor?
She lost her mind. What weight does she have to throw around to tell that man that he has the voting power? His mother handed him the power. Mm-hmm. What? Like, she's doing way too much. She lost her mind when she said that, and I'm glad that Billy corrected her.
Me too, and I honestly even wish he would have taken it a step further. And this whole all work in the background and everything. I mean, yeah, he's a screw up and all that, but in reality, with an ego as big as that, no man is ever going to step in the background. They can't do it. It's impossible. It will never happen. So why not just be real about it and let his character go ahead and tell her to get out? She should have picked Devon. Now she's out. She has no job. And then she can go and fight and try to, convince Jill and take Billy down in another way. But there is no way that any writer can make me believe that any man with the ego the size of Billy's is ever going to step back no matter what. There's no way. There's no way that would ever happen. His ego's too big. It just again, like you said earlier, make it make sense.
Right. Now, my take on it was the fact that I can see what she's trying to do, but even if Billy take a step back, it's still not going to work because Victor is going to do what Victor's going to do. It don't matter with Lily being in the forefront. If Victor wants Chancellor, he's going to come for it.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, oh, Billy's no longer there. Okay, we'll back off. Yeah, right. That's not going to work. And she's not in the position, and Bree and I talked about this on Wednesday as well, she's not in the position to call any shots.
I know, now, right? That's crazy.
Right. She can make a suggestion like, hey, what do you think about this? But she told him he needs to leave. And he was like, wait, I thought I had Jill's power. You can't tell me to leave. And she sat down at that table when she realized that she was talking out the side of her neck.
The look on her face was priceless.
I mean, she made herself look crazy. Because she thinks that telling Billy what to do, and that he was going to, first of all, to expect, like Trish just said, for her to say, you need to leave. Did you actually think Billy was going to be like, okay? Now, he came back after the fact and said, oh, well, after I thought about it, maybe I can make up an excuse, use my mom's illness, and say, hey, I'm going to take some time away and I'll work in the background. But either way it go, it doesn't matter. Because remember, Devon and... Was that Devon and Victor? Oh, no, Nate and Victor had a conversation saying that... one of the two. Saying that if she don't move out the way, then I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. Who did he tell that to? Was
Nate.
that was Nate?
That was Nate.
Yeah, Victor's going to steamroll to get the company back no matter who is there. It doesn't matter. It could still be Jill. It could be Chance. It could be even Abby. It could be anybody. He doesn't care. He's going to go after the company because he wants it for Nikki.
Yep.
And then she gonna work underneath Nikki because she can't really throw her weight around and say like, oh, I put in all this work and effort and everything. Because she's not going to tell Nikki to step down. She's not going to think she's going to get one over on Victor either.
Heck no. And honestly, your merger demerged. So for all intent and purposes, you've been an abject failure.
Yeah, because anytime you split apart a company, it shows its weakness. Right, Trish?
Well, yes, it does. And I mean, y'all know this is 101 life itself. You have no stock, like you have no ownership. It's the same thing in our other favorite show. It's like these people that have no ownership spewing this stuff to the person who owns the majority. It's like, what are you doing? The writers think we're stupid, y'all. They really do. It's really insulting. It's just not reality. And I know it's a soap opera, but at certain things, you really need to operate in a base of this could actually happen. And I know things are stranger than fiction, but at the same time, it's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I mean, just as bad as Hope telling the COO to leave a meeting.
Right. She doesn't own anything.
Exactly.
Crazy.
I couldn't believe she kicked Carter out of that meeting. Or tried to.
It's just the fact that she feels that she's able to throw her weight around. I'm talking about Lily. And the fact that she thinks she has Jill's best interest at heart. If that were the case, then wouldn't Jill hand her the power that she gave Billy? If she felt that she was better suited for that role? No, Jill kept it within her family, her bloodline.
Yep.
And I don't understand why Lily and I understand Lily says she put in her work, she put in all this time and everything. So do a lot of people at companies. But if you don't have ownership, you're just an employee.
Yep.
Well, exactly. On top of the fact that the merger went through, but it was nothing but total chaos after it went through. Yeah. It's been total chaos from day 2. As soon as she sat down in the chair and said, "Hey, I want to get Hamilton Winters in here." It's been nothing but one fiasco after another.
Yep. How long have they been before the demerger? Okay, so when they merged and then from that time to the demerger, how long has it been? A year?
Has it been a whole year?
Has it been a year?
I can't even remember.
Something like that.
I think it was right after the cheating scandal because Amanda had to come back in, and remember they had that back and forth with her and Devon in the boardroom. So that was the spring of 2023. So it may be a little over a year. You mean tell me you couldn't keep a company together over a year?
No.
And it was her idea.
Yeah, no.
Well, and the whole division with Daniel blew up too.
Oh God!
So it's like she made horrible personal decisions and she made horrible business decisions. So in my mind, I guess if you're from Houston, you could consider her the CEO of Centerpoint Energy here with all the clusters that she's caused because of what happened here. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the national news, but evidently, yes, CEOs can be terrible at their job and still get to keep it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Unbelievable.
I've seen that.
And keep in mind, she got her job right out of prison because her brother once again keeps rescuing her. And it's the same brother that she said she didn't trust, by the way. So he went along with the merger, didn't work out. He put her in a position after she unalived his wife and his child, and she still says she doesn't trust him. And even after the demerger, she's like, no, I'm going to stay over with Chancellor instead of work with the family.
Hey, Red. I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I was going to say, but just the fact that he's still trying to rescue her and letting her know what Victor might be up to or sleeping around, she feels she's still is able to get one over on people. I don't understand that. And her brother still wants to save her.
Right. Rednecks. Okay, so what you probably heard is the fact that Keisha she'll be on deployment. She's in the military and she'll be deployed from October through March. I think that is March. So that's what some folks are responding to. So yeah, she's being deployed. So she'll be taking some time away from the soap out there fighting for the country or protecting.
And we love her for that.
Yep.
Very grateful.
She'll be on duty. Yep. So that's what that is. Yes, yes, yes. Because Rednax was like, I heard somebody was leaving. I know,
but she's not leaving. She just going away for a little while.
Yeah, she did this before back in 2022. She left in like March and came back in October. That's how we got Trish.
That's how we met. Yes.
Yes, because Trish came over. It was me. So just to kind of give a quick rewind on the history of this podcast, Keisha and I was the two original people here. You know, I was looking for somebody to be a co-host, and Keisha was the co-host back in 2019, and we have been consistently running the show every Friday night since then. She was deployed in 2022, and I needed somebody to come in and cover for her, and we got Trish. Well, when she came back, it was the three of us. And then Bree was very active in the comment section. I'm like, we need her over here too. And then, of course, Jay Money was also very active as well. So that's how we got the panelists on this wonderful, wonderful show.
And I'm grateful, y'all.
Yep, coming up, we're in season 5. So, yeah.
Amazing.
It's been a long time and a good time. What'd you say?
It has been. T, you have done so many amazing things with all of the podcasts that you are responsible for. You've got on so many channels, and I just am just in awe of the fact that you just take the bull by the horns and you just make it happen. So kudos. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. It's a lot of hard work. I appreciate you guys. I mean, even throwing in the midweek chat, Bree, she's in there in the trenches with me on Wednesday nights. I appreciate her. I appreciate you and Keish, and I know y'all have stuff to do, but we still make it happen. So I am glad to have you all and all of my regulars, the Rednaxes and the Belinda, and Vicky Langer and Amaya Baker. I mean, I can go down the list. It's a lot of you guys.
All the soapies.
All the soapies. The Cheryl Hines.
We love our shows. We love to love our shows, and we love to hate our shows.
Exactly. Myra and Paris Barnes and Monique and all of you good folks. Dewan, and especially you guys that are helping out in the Facebook group, Delmonica. And Dewan is posting so much about how he can't stand. Who is that? Is it Poppy? No. The new Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Not going to give her a chance. Nope. Not going to do it. It's hilarious. And y'all, I have to say, too, I love that on the boards that we post on, that nobody is commenting on actual human beings' physicalities, as in some of the other boards allow some really vile vitriol about the actual people playing the parts. And I've had to just remove myself from some of those boards because it's so cruel. So I like it here because everyone is very friendly, and we know it's a show and these are just characters, and we're not bashing the real people. It's just such a joyful place to be and so much fun.
Yep, and we can't forget about D. Spencer. D. Spencer and Rednax is active in my comment section every day.
Yes.
It's quite a few of you all that's part of the Rednax fan club. That's active in my comments.
And yes, Rednax, Keisha will be coming back.
Yes, Keisha will be coming back afterwards. So, all right. I'm feeling the love. This is why we like our little community over here, because what Trish is saying, with some of the vitriol that go on in other spaces. I can deal with it. It's just too much, especially the drama that they're giving Rebecca Buddick right now. And we'll talk about that in the Bold and the Beautiful segment.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's clean up that so we can jump into the segment, because we got to talk about this whole Kyle and Summer thing and this whole big old fight that happened at the GCAC between the Battle of the Mamas.
That was crazy to hear Diane saying all that stuff. I mean, it was all true, but man, girl, do you not get a mirror either? Really?
Yeah, well. Well, I gotta say, yes, I can't give them credit on the who tricked their families about being dead, about being dead. But Phyllis, I'm sorry, Trish, Phyllis is gassing this whole custody situation up.
She's been stoking it the whole time. I'm like, you know what happened to you with Daniel and Danny? Mm-hmm. Why would you do this to your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, all this because she thinks that Audra is sleeping with Kyle. I'm like, you don't have any proof of that.
And who cares? He's not your husband. Who cares? As long as Harrison's not there.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I mean, does it matter? I don't know. I don't have a kid, but I'm just thinking in my head, like, is it her business at this point?
I don't know. This whole thing is just weird to me. And then they slipped in the fact, and I kind of touched on this, and Bree had gave a little bit of insight on possibilities on this in the group chat about all this time, even when they were married, going through a divorce, nobody mentioned anything about an adoption. And then you want to throw in, as Bree and I call it, the 11th hour, about an adoption that happened in Paris. Are you serious?
But that can't be, because what you were saying on the chat with regard to he's a U.S. citizen. He's not a dual citizen. He's not a citizen of Paris, France, or of France. What the heck?
Yeah, and I don't. And the thing is, I think it's because of the fact that the writers are getting heat on what happened. Where does she stand with this thing? All we know, they got a divorce and she had visitation. And so everybody's like, this doesn't make sense. Why is she fighting for sole custody when she doesn't have any legal rights? So now they want to throw this into the storyline to just say, oh yeah, I adopted Harrison in Paris. Really? Go ahead, Bree. You was about to say something.
I was going to say, they could have said this weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really frustrating as a viewer, because I knew there's no way this woman is going to lawyers and they're telling her she's going to win a case and all she has is this visitation. So she must have had something that was more concrete to throw her weight around. Now that we know that she adopted the boy, kind of similar to how Hope did, she has legal rights. And as far as like them saying like, oh, we did the adoption stuff over in Italy, doesn't mean they filed Italy paperwork for the adoption. They could have did the adoption for the U.S. and had it sent over. And even still, they were married at the time. So Kyle would want to have solidified to make sure that she was a legal parent for him. So that means they got that approval or Tara signed her rights away when it came to the child and gave that to Summer. So that part is done. So the Tara thing, that's done and over with.
Well, that's only if they did it the right way. If Tara says there's no way you got my approval, how did you make this happen over in France? You know what I'm saying? And that would make a soapy twist to it if they wanted to bring her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they even mentioned it. Just the fact that they said, like, oh, we did I adopted him. Well, actually, no, Victor asked her, like, didn't you adopt him? It was like, yeah, we did the paperwork stuff over in Italy. Okay. They could have said this weeks ago. So people won't be, like, banging their head against the wall as to why she's pushing so hard. And then when they were talking about the visitation, like, everything's starting to kind of make sense now. Since the divorce, they were trying to split the time up as far as who had Harrison at what time. And since Kyle had more of a stable home. He actually had a home to go to. Not Douglas, Harrison was living over there. And I think she didn't like that part-time role. So all that part makes sense, but they could have said this. And I think because the fans were complaining, they've been listening to the podcast because we've been really driving home with this. Mm-hmm. Then they want to throw that in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like you say, and Paris said that even if that happened, saying it now doesn't make sense to certain viewers. And I totally agree. Y'all just threw that in there.
Yeah, there was no continuity at all.
Nope. Y'all just threw it in there. And then by Victor said, well, didn't you do the adoption? That's what you gonna gaslight the fans? Like, we should have known that. No, we did not. Y'all didn't never bring it up. Y'all just bringing it up now on August 9th, 2024.
Yeah. The CYA script.
Exactly. Because they got tired of the fans saying what they were saying. And so they was like, oh, let's just say that she adopted him when they were away in Paris. But wait a minute. Okay, help me understand. So was there a time... Oh, okay. So that's when they were still married and they left town together with Harrison? Supposedly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
She said, I guess.
I guess.
Okay.
So they did this basically a couple of years ago. Because they've been divorced for a year, and prior to that they were married for a whole year. Well, actually, how long has Allison Lanier been on? 2 years?
Couple years now,
yeah. I think 2022.
Yeah, so it's been a long... they did the paperwork stuff a long while ago. Mm-hmm. So then plus, if he was in love with her, he wanted to be with her. So I wouldn't put it past Kyle to solidify her as a legal mother. That's her child. And I'm glad that they cleared that up. But... And the thing is, no matter where you are, if you're a U.S. citizen and you're trying to get stuff done, you can still have paperwork done and have it sent over to the U.S. You don't have to be a citizen in Italy. And unless you're choosing to live there in Italy and get the legal documents for Italy. So there's U.S. citizens, and they're still sending paperwork over to have that done. There's people who buy houses who live in other countries and still buy houses over in the U.S. That happens all the time.
It does, yeah.
So...
But...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I was going to say, so the other issue is this where Summer tried to paint, and Phyllis, when she had the conversation with Jack, as Kyle being the villain in this story. And so when Summer went to talk to Victor, she only brought out certain things that she knew wouldn't sit right, not telling her part in this. Because he had a look on his face like, Kyle is doing this? And by the time Kyle got to the table in front of Victor, he was like, hold on, she had started it. I didn't have no problem with her spending time. Everything was still going the way it was going. She started it because she don't want me working at Glissade with Audra Charles. And the biggest problem is Victor's behind all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was extra quiet. I honestly thought that he was going to be like, okay, we're going to take the Abbotts down. We're going to do this. He was like, I'm going to have Kyle talk to you. You guys are going to work everything out. So with that, I was like, okay, so this girl really does have legal custody. He wants to try to keep the peace. I do see that now.
Well, he wants to keep the peace because he don't want to expose himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this goes to court, the court can make Kyle they can ask Kyle under oath, why are you working with this woman? He don't have to tell the truth. I'm working with them because of a mystery investor I can't disclose. Well, I'm sorry, you at court. You need to disclose.
And wouldn't it be funny to see him in contempt of court, wind up in jail, and then get a criminal record?
Exactly. At what point? Because see, this conversation is gonna. Spoiler alert: this conversation is gonna happen between Summer and Kyle next week. And if you saw the Friday preview, you hear Summer saying, I need you to eliminate somebody from your life. And of course, she's referring to Audra Charles. All
Right.
Kyle had to say without implicating Victor was like, look, I don't have control over my contract or her contract. We have an investor that we have to abide by their contract. I can't force her out. She has a contract with the investor. So unless they want to cut her loose, I can't do anything about it. My hands are tied. That's how he should be able to explain that. Does that sound feasible to the two of you?
100%. Yeah. It actually kind of works in Kyle's favor. If he wanted to run Glissade by himself, he could be like, look, Summer and I come to an agreement that I need to not be around Audra, which sounds so silly. But Victor could be like, okay, I'll just put her someplace else and cut her loose. I could see Victor doing that just to keep the peace and to try to keep his name out of, the news and out of the courts too.
The only problem with that is the fact that Audra, she's a wild card. I mean, if she tried to cut him out, she don't have no problem to expose him. At that point, she ain't got nothing to lose.
Bingo.
So and he knows not to do that. Right.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Exactly. So if she decides to say, if he says, you know what, to protect my family and my grandson and everything, I can't have you working here. She's going to be like, hold on, you wouldn't have this company if it wasn't for me.
Right.
Well, that was her stupidity.
Right, I understand that, but at going to court with this thing, this is about to get real ugly because they're going to court. After Monday's episode, he's done because he's like, you can't control my life. You can't tell me who I can and cannot work with. And other than that, if you don't agree to the joint custody that he countered with, we're going sole custody. And that's where they're going. They're headed to court.
That is so unfortunate. I feel so bad for Harrison because he had that little scene. He was like, my family used to get along. We used to read stories. We used to pass the book back from, when they were reading stories to me at night. And now they can't even be in a room together. It's like, oh, you poor baby.
Yeah, it's sad.
Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that Victor is going to have to get involved because he thought by Kyle talking to her that this was going to get resolved. Summer is not budging. She want Audra gone. What did Victor expect? I think the conversation he needs to have is with her. You telling Kyle to talk to her ain't going to work. He's going to have to convince Summer, meaning Victor, you need to back up. There's a lot of moving parts with this thing. Even if he don't want to give himself up, he might want to try to make a third person as the investor and say they probably are tied into contracts that he can't control, which he can't. So,
unless Victor is like, look, I can go ahead and get rid of Audra and put you in charge if it means you guys stay out of court and you guys share joint custody together.
Yeah, I'm curious. That'll be the easy way out.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that would mean that they would have to write Audra to back down. And I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless they sign like an NDA or something. Because if he's saying like he's a silent investor, she probably signed something saying she can't say nothing.
That's possible
I would imagine he's got all kinds of confidentiality agreements in place, and they are ironclad.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then that would be a way out of this is to kick Audra to the curb.
And then she'll really be regretting not taking Tucker's offer from the beginning.
Right.
Yep. So now we got to talk about, we kind of talked briefly about the whole thing with Diane and Phyllis, that whole thing, because I know me and Trish was talking about it. Those two were going back and forth about who's the better mother. when they both left their kids behind.
That was some nerve from those two women, you know?
Yeah, and Jack tried to be a peacemaker, but they weren't listening to him.
No, Jack needs to just sit back and watch the show.
He just said 2 words and he was just quiet.
Well, and whenever he said that was appalling, I thought he meant both of them. But then when they went back to him and Diane after Phyllis exited, he was only talking about Phyllis.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, man, where's the mirror? And yes, Phyllis is off the deep end right now. But Diane is guilty of everything and then some that she just accused Phyllis of. So, and for years, not just a few months, for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of nerve.
They both gave as good as they got. And they both stated facts, except for the summer thing. But they both stated facts as far as their involvement in their children's lives or the lack thereof, their selfishness, and this further proves for me that I think they're going to put Kyle and Summer back together, because it has to get bad before it gets better. And the fact that she is so pressed about Audra and Claire, she's mad about Audra because that's the woman he cheated with while they were going through their stuff because of Summer's mother. And Claire is a woman that's not circling around. She's around Kyle and around her son now. And that she feels like that's a threat. I think she's jealous of these two women because she wants that man back. I think the way that their marriage had ended wasn't what she had wanted, and I'm glad that they wrote into the story that both of the grandmothers, had their hand in the demise of their marriage. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason they highlighted that because I feel like that's the road they're about to go to with those two.
Yeah, sure.
You may be right.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Trish.
Oh no, I just was going to say you may well be right.
Yeah, Cheryl Haynes, you're absolutely correct. Phyllis started it. She didn't have to go over there to that table. She didn't. She came over there. They were enjoying their morning after because they had obviously Jack redeemed some of them coupons that he got on his anniversary, and they had a long night and had breakfast together. And she brought herself over there, painting Kyle as the villain, and the rest was history. Even her own daughter was like, "Mom, let's not do this." And when they got downstairs, she said, "I'm just trying to protect you." And she was like, "Well, what do you think Diane was going to do? She was going to also protect her own son." What were you going to do in that whole conversation but have a screaming match? And then when Victor showed up and said, "Hello, ladies," and told Summer, that whole thing is taken care of, the look on Phyllis's face like, you did not ask your grandfather for help.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're going to have to pay for that one.
Yeah, she made a very, very valid point. You do not want to be indebted to Victor because he's going to collect on all of his debt.
Yep.
Every time, whether you're his family or not. And that's why I feel if he does get involved, like the simple solution would be to fire Audra, and then he could be like, okay, well, I fired her from my company. I want you to hire her at your company, or something like that. Because they did talk about Marchetti a little bit too.
Well, yeah. Summer actually had the nerve to say he wouldn't really do that to his children. I'm like, go have a conversation with your Uncle Adam, Nick, and your Auntie Victoria and your Auntie Abby, and let's see how that worked. They got so pissed off at your grandfather, they sued him for $500 million. So
a piece.
They was that mad at him because of all of the maneuver. He had his own daughter arrested on her wedding day.
That was something else, man.
I mean, where has she been to not understand what goes on in that family?
Right.
Or ask the employees. Where ask Michael. Ask Chance, because he was just in the middle of that stuff that happened with Victor too. He could have really gave her some insight of how her grandfather works. So
Hey Bree, he was too busy simping trying to get some last week, telling her what she want to hear.
so he was like Finn. I
I
understand.
know.
But you know what's so funny with those scenes is you don't have to tell, you don't have to simp. I mean, she's there for you, man. She's there. It's like she wants the same thing you want. So why you got to do all that junk? You know, why don't you just be real?
Because he knows how petty she gets when people try to tell her the truth. She gets into this, you're not on my side. How can you
Yeah.
take up for Kyle?
I just want to see somebody be real with her.
She can't handle the truth like Jack Nicholson says.
Right? Oh
Oh
man.
my goodness. So, yep, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week. I know a lot of folks are ready for both. How many people we got in the chat, girl?
Let's see. Just look at it. 133, you guys.
Nice. How many likes we got? Can you see?
56.
56?
Yep.
All right, let's see if we can get the likes up even further. I mean, it's 130 of you all, whether you're typing in the chat or whether you're ninja watching in the background. I'm assuming that you're still here, so you're enjoying the content. So just hit the like button. I appreciate it.
I'm pretty sure it's all the writers and producers of the show just shadow watching.
Yeah, that's the perfect word.
We
Shadow
don't
watching.
As long as they don't shadow ban us, we'll be glad to have them shadow watch us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a whole bunch of folks back there like, And I'll mention something in the group chat that I found very interesting this week, okay? I'm talking to you too.
Yeah,
what you got?
Fine.
Okay. Oh, I'll mention to you in the group chat.
Okay. So I would like to just throw out there for the shadow listeners that, I mean, we'd love to interview writers, producers, actors on the show. We'd love to have a conversation, have y'all on here. We love you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so much fun.
And I just want to throw a suggestion for the producers and writers and whoever's listening. Can we not make Claire look like a child, please?
Oh, yes. She's a grown woman. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She was a little girl all over again. She looked like she could play with Lucy.
Oh, I gotta say one other thing about Phyllis. She need to put that same energy that she's doing for Harrison into her other grandchild, Lucy.
Thank you.
Take her shopping. Do something.
She spends no time or doesn't even mention her other grandchild. But all of a sudden, Harrison is her grandbaby. Like, oh, I'm a grandma now. You've been a grandmother for 20 years.
Right.
Almost.
Right. I mean, your granddaughter right now is spiraling. She says she feel alone. She ain't got no friends. She got a whole auntie in Summer. And she got a grandmama. And I know Phyllis is a grandmother, but still, while y'all worried about Harrison, y'all need to be worried about Lucy, because the girl is over there drinking probably Patron and Jack Daniels and everything else. So somebody come get her. And it ain't cool.
Especially since Heather's not locking her liquor cabinet for this girl to easily just pour herself a drink. And the thing is, we don't even know if she's been drinking prior to this or if that's the first time she was drinking with Faith.
You know what, Bree? I honestly think she probably have, because why did you feel that comfortable that you need to pour something and stick it in your bag?
And you knew it would help you relax.
Exactly.
So evidently you've done it before.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So, wait a minute. Harrison is not Phil's grandchild. She's no blood relation. She spends zero time with him. I mean, right quick. That conversation where she was trying to manipulate that boy at Crimson Lights, talking about when you need to say how great your mom is, tell it to your teacher, tell it to anybody who listen, even tell it to a judge if they ask you. I'm like, really, Phyllis?
That was so. Ugh. I mean, there's lows, and then there's like pond scum. That anytime you manipulate a little kid like that, that's just below the low.
He just came off of Jordan trying to manipulate him, saying that
Right.
his family don't love him.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah. So, oof, yeah, I mean, maybe Phyllis needs to stay away from Lucy. She'll probably spiral.
I mean, this, if anything, she definitely needs to be around Lucy because she was also part of that Cassie storyline too.
She
And she
was.
knew how to affect her son.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's affecting, alcohol's affecting her daughter the same way it affected Cassie. She needs to be more involved in that regard instead of just Harrison. Harrison is just happy with his ice cream. Miss Martinez is making him cookies and everything. He's good.
He's good. Exactly. He's doing great, man.
Exactly. But I gotta tell you, that whole that whole episode on Monday it's good. I'm assuming, Trish, that you saw it already.
No, I have not yet seen it.
Okay. So
It's a busy week.
it's been a busy week. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Yeah, that whole thing between Kyle and Summer is going to be real crazy on Monday, and unfortunately, it's not going to go in her favor because they headed to court. So,
Dang.
all right, y'all did we cover everything on the Young and the Restless? All right, cool.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, we're going to head over to Bold. Again, make sure you hit that like button. Follow on all of the other platforms on TikTok, Instagram, the Facebook group, Threads, Rumble, and on Medium where the blog is. So if you just type in Soap Corner Talk, you should find all of those platforms come up. And then you can go over there and check. They all have different functions. So the blog, of course, like the spoilers for the Young and the Restless and the Mondays episode articles are already there. On Instagram, I usually post in the stories, and I post the clips from the current episode that we just saw, and they have little quotes under them. The Facebook groups, we have a lot of conversation in there, and I'm also sharing other posts from other Facebook fan pages and groups as well, so you get to see what other folks are thinking, and then we talk about it because my group is set to private, so we're all just having our own conversations. You have to get approved to jump in that group. So right now we're up to 122 people over there, which it's small, but we have fun over there. It's a lot of engagement, especially Jenna and Trish.
Yeah.
Jenna, Loco over there, Delmonica, all of you guys that's over there, thank you so much for supporting the Facebook group as well. So we're going to move.
Dwan's awesome.
What'd you say?
I said Dwan's awesome.
I know. Dwan says Summer ain't that boy's mom, and Tara didn't sign away her rights as far as I know. I mean, we were talking about that earlier, so yeah, I don't know. They just threw that in trying to make it look like we missed something, but no. We didn't miss anything, writers. All right.
Look at those pictures. Wow.
Yeah, a collage of a lot of different things that was going on this week. All right, so let me give you the highlights, and then we'll break down the storylines for The Bold and the Beautiful for the week of August 5th through August 9th. As Poppy begs Luna to keep a secret, Brook bedroom video drops around the world, and Steffy prays that it will save Forrester. Which, that don't make sense, that part. But anyway. Taylor watches Brook and Ridge kiss when Brook relaunch goes viral and calls Steffy to tell her she's coming home. Carter defends Steffy to Hope while Finn and Steffy Finn and Steffy spend the night making out. No, they didn't. They just laid on the couch. Katie believes she knows who killed Tom and Hollis, while Liam learns Will walked in on Poppy and Bill. And Katie called Chief Baker and warns Bill that Poppy was the one who killed Tom and Hollis. Alright, so let's start with the beginning of the week, where we had the launch of the bedroom line, and Hope was being extremely irritating by trying to taunt Steffy. Yeah, what did y'all think about that part?
I mean, Hope is let's see, what's the word I can legally use on here? She is just obnoxiously ridiculous right now, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's funny. It's funny because so far she, again, owns nothing. She's an employee. She is stepping out of her lane every which way when we turn around. She's having fantasies about a married man who, by the way, is not having fantasies about her that they have shown us. And the way that she's talking, it's like, I have a little secret. I have a secret. I know something you don't know. It's like, grow up, man. You're lucky you still have a line, because quite frankly, with the affair that you had while you were still married to Liam, you should have lost your line, because if you're basing it on morals and ethics, you have none anymore. You can't claim it. So she was obnoxiously annoying to me.
Okay. Say it with
And I enjoyed watching it.
Say it with your chest, Trish.
I did. It was fun. It was so fun, y'all.
All right, what you got, Bree?
Hope is the princess of the Lulu Island. I think she's going to be the permanent princess over there. She has a whole affair in her head. Who does that?
I mean, right?
And the fact that she wanted a cookie from Steffy every time, like her mother breathes, like Steffy, see my mother, like she's getting this and she's getting these comments. Everyone is saying this about my mom. You can say the same thing about my mom, right? Right? I'm like, girl. Mm. And the thing is, you have a failing clothing line that you cry about every chance you get, or every chance that Steffi's like, look, we need to look at the numbers. Your line is doing poorly. So you have a line you could be working on, but you spent all this time focusing on Brook's bedroom, seeing the social engagement, and trying to throw all this stuff over at Steffi, hoping that she just give her mother the praise and everything like everybody else. And she doesn't have to do that. You get mad about the numbers when it comes to your line. When it comes to your mother's line, it's all fair game. Mm-hmm. It's all good.
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead.
So that part, yeah. I'm sorry.
No. Oh no, you go, Bree. I was just agreeing with you. Absolutely, yes.
So it was like the numbers are imaginary when it comes to her stuff, but when it comes to her mother's line, it's all the Logan success, and that Steffi can't say anything, and Steffi should just go ahead and praise her and celebrate her. And she was like, it's okay to smile, Steffi, at my mom's success. I'm like, girl, if you do not go, you do not sit down.
Someone had posted a scene from the whole line that Katie and Brook and Donna did with the really cool outfits years ago. Mm-hmm. And the whole scene was, Steffi wasn't modeling for any of that, which she should have been. She's a Forester, but she wasn't the one that was modeling. It was all the Logan women modeling. And they all looked amazing because they're beautiful women. They all looked amazing. And you want to know where Steffi was? Steffi was on the sidelines with Carter, cheering them on, saying how beautiful they looked, how amazing they looked, what a great photo shoot it was. So for Hope to even say that Steffi has not supported the success of the lines and the Logan contributions to the company is just BS. It's just BS.
I agree.
And if I could meet Hope on the streets in real life, I'd show her those scenes to just rub her nose in it.
Oh my God.
Y'all, I'm having so much fun. I've missed y'all for the last 3 weeks. I'm having way too much fun tonight.
Hey, no problem.
You too.
No problem.
I agree with Trish. It was actually the Hollywood line, and I think the Goddess line were the two lines.
The Goddess line. Yes.
And Steffi was doing PR for both lines and was cheering them on and saying, "Oh, they look beautiful." And she was actually the lead for those campaigns. So for Hope to say that she doesn't think what's best for Forestry Creation, especially when it comes to the Logans, she has always done, if anything, she's been more neutral when it comes to the business decisions. Even if she doesn't like the Logans, she still was like, okay, I don't like the Logans, but hey, they're still a success. And she's not even coming down on Brook. She's like, look, I just want to see how the numbers are going to turn out. I want to see if there's going to be real sales and real turnout. And that's the part that I don't understand with Hope. You see this woman's trying to do her job, but if it has anything negative regarding the Logans, you feel it's always a personal attack on you guys.
That, and two, I was so happy whenever Carter used the word that Steffi was being pragmatic, because that is the perfect word. She was absolutely being pragmatic.
Yeah, what I don't agree with though is the fact that they want to siphon the money out of Brook's line to put it to a line that nobody wants.
Well, right? Change your line. Don't be Hope for the Future anymore. That line's dead. Your morals are dead. Your ethics are dead. That happened years ago. I mean, when you were having dreams about Thomas, when you were actually with your husband. So don't even go there anymore. Do your own something else. Like, you can do something else. It just can't continue to be the same, like, hokey line. I mean, y'all saw some of that stuff before Thomas got involved. It was ridiculous.
Exactly. And so when Steffi Steffi kind of brought it up like, well, hopefully this will help out Forrester. I'm like, what's happening with Couture? Y'all not making money with Couture? Why are y'all banking on Brook's line to save Forrester? It's not just even Hope's line. It's like, is the company going down in shambles because y'all banking on this to happen?
Right. What's happening?
What's happening? Go ahead, Bree.
I was wondering that too, because didn't they make a big deal about the Eric and Ridge's line, like being the most successful couture lines? They spent all that money on the expensive dresses and everything. So I'm like, what happened to that? But I agree with you. They need to get rid of Hope for the Future. And I'm like, no one cares to even search on the internet. They said that. No one's searching on the internet for Hope for the Future. No one's going to the boutiques for Hope for the Future. And this is the youth line. So she's banking on the success of her mother's refurbished line to help give her funds to help out her line.
Yeah. Yep. And the thing is, it'll be different. And I said this on Wednesday. It would have been different if Hope had a little bit of life in her line, right? And they just need a boost. You want to take money out of Brook's line and put it into trash. And then what? Because it's like she put in all that work. She put herself on Front Street. She wasn't excited because she was worried about how she was going to be viewed, her age and all that, and it turned out great. But then you want to take some of that money and put it to a line that nobody wants. That part don't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to anybody that knows numbers either. And one thing that I do want to bring up here is that Catherine Kelly Lang is gorgeous. She works out. She works so hard. I mean, in the last year and a half or so, she broke her foot and came back and still did all of her workouts and everything. I mean, she's amazing. And her character, Brook, looked fabulous. And I honestly am so grateful that they didn't make it a bad thing, because ageism is real, y'all. I mean, if we are blessed to age, it is not for the faint of heart. And I just commend her for putting herself out there for the world to see, because man alive, she looked amazing.
Yeah.
She really does.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And it's actually a good message that they're going with Brooke's bedroom, because before it was something completely different. But I was hoping, especially since they said Tracy was going to be in LA, you know, has Alan. Like T was saying a couple weeks ago, she can wear a couple of those pieces. Like,
yeah,
if hone it in. But we didn't get that at all.
No, we did not.
My favorite piece, and I brought this up on Wednesday, was that peach color outfit that Brook wore throughout that shoot. That peach outfit
was pretty,
insanely gorgeous.
Yeah, was really, really nice. Very beautiful.
Yes, it was. And
dreamy.
What you say?
Dreamy.
Now the other thing is that KKL and Ashley Abora, I think that's how you pronounce it. Abra, yeah. Both of them model outside of the show. They actually did a modeling campaign for summer wear, where they were wearing,
I saw that. I bought that dress with the lemons on it.
Yeah, so Catherine Kelly Lane is modeling in real life right now. So, I mean, hey, I guess you can model at any age these days.
Heck yeah, you can. And she also has her caftan company, KKL Caftans. She has beautiful pieces.
Yep.
A lot of these actors and actresses have like jewelry lines or clothing lines or scarf lines. They're really entrepreneurial.
Yeah, I think Michelle Stafford has a skincare line.
Skin line? Mm-hmm.
And the girl that played Quinn, Rena Sofer, she sells like pottery.
Her pottery is
great.
They're all
and she rescues animals too.
Yes, she does. She rescue animals as well. So these folks are doing a lot of different things. I think Tracy Bregman has something that she does as well. Quite a few. These ladies are like, look, hey, I'm more than just soaps.
Yeah, and Tracy Bregman has a segment on her online presence where she talks about something that just pisses her off. It's really funny.
Oh, wow.
Because she's such a beautiful lady, and she's just like, this is just something that just pisses me off. It's just hysterical.
Okay, back to the soap. So, did you guys kind of peek at the fact that Hope was looking at that computer at her mom, and she got to thinking, like, if she was going to try to embrace the whole thing herself. Did it seem that way?
Oh, it's a total prelude. Yeah, for sure.
What do you think, Bree?
It's what they actually should have done for that character, but they didn't decide to go with it, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, Hope thinking that she gonna, cause that lingerie she had on in that office. Yeah, when Finn walked in was absolutely ridiculous. And I know Annika can wear a lingerie because she did it for Thomas.
Yep. Yeah.
And effortlessly.
Yeah, exactly. And that stuff that they had her wearing and that was on the hangers behind her when Finn walked in, that was like, what is this, 1958 to 62 matron wear? What is this? What is happening?
Oh,
she's a young, beautiful woman. What is happening right now?
A lot of nothing. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe she needs, like, I don't know, like pee or like something to inspire her. Because that's exactly what Thomas was giving her. He was giving her all the inspiration in the world. He called her inspiration, actually.
Yep.
So maybe during this dry spell, she's going to just give some very dry fashion.
I guess. Again, parched.
Yeah, I mean, she's working with her brother and Zende, and I mean, they're
Mm-mm.
obviously not going to give her the same inspiration that Thomas
I
gave.
would hope not. I'll be changing the channel. Not in my interest. Thank you.
Well, and the other thing is that she turned around and tried to blame Steffi about that once again, because Finn, we got to talk
Again.
about that,
Mm-hmm.
because Finn had his nose in this mess too.
He shouldn't have said nothing.
Not a word, y'all. Seriously, that was like, wow, dude. Seriously. Mm-mm.
And you know this woman wants to go after you. And she's failing at every attempt because he's not even remotely interested. But the fact that he put his 2 cents in, knowing that this is going to just give her more reason to think that he's interested and he's not. Like, this is so, like, he wants to be not a goody goody. He's a people pleaser. He wants to, like, put these two women together and have a really good relationship eventually down the line. And, like, where is the same effort when it comes to Thomas? But you feel two enemies are bound to just be friends one day. Come on.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, and then she was looking some kind of way, when Finn is canoodling with his wife, and I'm like, that should tell you something. Leave him alone. Now, granted, Finn needs to kind of deal with her with a long handled spoon instead of always trying to be her friend, like you said, Bree, being a people pleaser. But at some point, which is going to get kind of pushy next week, because I did see some spoiler pics where Hope is going to try to come on to him at that party next week.
Ew.
And, he's going to try to push her off, but she's getting bold, at least. And I guess, hey, hence the bold and the beautiful. She's going to get bold with hers because Steffi ain't going to be that far away, so she don't care.
So if you got to see the preview and Danny Romalotti is singing and Steffi's jamming out and Finn's kind of doing his little movement, and then you look at Hope, y'all, there is no rhythm. Like there's no I laughed so hard. I was like, oh.
To me, I'm like, why are we even doing that? I mean, I understand this is supposed to be some celebration for Brook's bedroom line relaunch or whatever that they're doing at the Forrester Mansion next week. But Danny and Cricket, I guess. I mean, we weren't
so
excited
random.
about them over on Y&R, so it's going to make it better on both.
I don't know what the thought process is with that because, I mean, Danny Romalotti, great character, lots of fun and everything, but he's been gone for so long that it's really hard to form that bond back again. And then Cricket, I mean, it's the bug. Come on, man.
Yeah, and I mean, her brother does run that side of the show, so, I mean.
If we didn't know that, it might be different. It's like, okay, it's nice to be in a family that has the say.
Right. What you think, Bree?
I honestly didn't have a chance to see the clip at all. I've been looking for it.
Okay. Yeah, you're not really missing anything. I mean, the Friday, well, it did show Chief Baker hauling Poppy off to the yeah, because
y'all, I just have to say, if I may, I can't wait for Katie to be made a fool.
Yeah, I think this is all a setup. It's just too easy. Unless, like Bree says, that she is the perpetrator, which we'll get to that part, But it would be the worst writing of a mystery ever seen. So, if that's
lazy. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And plus, I'm more of a fan of watching a mystery that's in a 2-hour movie that I get the answer to in 2 hours, not 2 months. So I'm getting tired. Like, just reveal it already.
I mean, at least have somebody lurking somewhere,
Yeah, that whole thing is just crazy. All right, before go ahead. You got something, Bree?
No, I said I know we'll get to that in a second, but
Okay.
I was really curious to see the dancing and everything. I really
It's
wanted to
so
see
bad,
that.
Bree.
Oh,
It's
girl,
so
it's
bad,
so
Bree.
corny.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's corny.
I guess, but once again, like if she's trying to be more like her mother and try to really push up on Finn, I want Steffi to witness it this time.
I would love nothing more than that.
Maybe we'll get a
That would just,
slap this time.
okay, so I have to ask, Steffi has never slapped Hope.
Mm-mm.
Ever. Not ever.
Mm-mm.
It's always been Hope trying to slap Steffi. If someone can find a video of Steffi actually laying hands on Hope's face, I was actually slapping Hope. I'm not talking about the chocolate fountain incident. That was a fountain incident. That was not like slapping someone across the face. I don't recall ever seeing Steffi slap Hope. I do recall seeing Hope shove Steffi into the desk in the secondary office at Forrester Creations when she was pregnant, and Steffi doubled over and started holding her abdomen. And I remember Hope, at least in the last 12 months, attempting to slap Steffi twice and Steffi grabbing her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong?
No, you're correct.
Yep.
So she's never attempted to slap Hope. Hope has never stopped Steffi's hand, or Steffi's hand has never went across Hope's face.
Yeah, I don't
No,
remember that.
and I'm surprised. I'm like, she's Stephanie Forrester's grandchild. I mean, I figured that she would have had a few slaps by now.
Yeah, 'cause
she slapped Sheila more than she's ever had a chance to slap Hope.
exactly.
And she slapped Quinn too and knocked Quinn off her feet.
Sure did. Rosaline Jacobs said that the Logans will cause the death of Bold and how so sick of them she is.
Well, they're about 65% of the show, so I don't know.
For about 30-something years, too.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
I gotta say, if I can just say, I mean, I love every character, and I love all the actors, and I love to hate some of the characters too. And some of the characters that I love to love, sometimes I love to hate them too.
No, yeah.
Just depends on what they're doing.
Exactly. Okay. So before Brook and Bridge left for back to LA, somebody was watching them, and that was none other than Taylor Hayes, now being replaced by Rebecca Buddick. And on Wednesday, this dropped. No, Tuesday, because I did a lunchtime live about 1-ish, 1:30-ish my time. And social media was a firestorm. Bree and I also talked about it. I talked about it on Tuesday. We talked about it on Wednesday. And we're going to talk about it again today because there are a lot of issues with regards to how young she looks and the actress age.
So I had said, of course, I'm very, very disappointed that we don't have Krista Allen back. I'm a huge Krista Allen fan. I loved the way she portrayed Taylor. I did not care that she giggled. I loved that part of it. I thought, great character. The character now has some personality and is not just, but that's just me. So I was very disappointed Krista Allen did not come back. I will absolutely give this actress a chance. And with regard to her age, she's over 50. And in looking at her pictures, even though in some of them there's a really big filter, she does look 50, low 50s. She, her skin, and this is coming from me. I've been very honest with everybody. I'm 57. You can kind of tell in the skin. So I'm going to give her a heartfelt chance, and I wish her nothing but the very best. And I certainly hope that if we get used to her, that he doesn't rip her off the show in 9 months.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So one of the points I brought up on Wednesday, because a lot of people didn't understand why they would recast somebody young or whatever, I brought up the biggest recast that we had on this show was Ridge Forrester, which was Run Moss to Torsten K. Ron Moss is 72 years old. Torsten K is 58.
Yep.
We're talking about I won't say a decline, but we'll talk about a reverse age gap of
It's the Benjamin Button effect.
Of 14 years. So, either way, whether Ron Moss was older than what the actual character was, or whether Torsten is the actual age of the character, or maybe even a little bit younger, the fact of the matter is that they acted out the role.
Mm-hmm.
Krista is only 53, so she's only 2 years older than Rebecca Buddick.
Yep.
So I know everybody was, I love Krista too. The girl was whimsical. She was funny. She was light. She loved to laugh and smile, and whatever happened behind the scene and contract issues, that was back in December.
Yep.
But I'm gonna give Rebecca a chance, and I know Dewan has a hashtag that says "Not My Taylor." He's been posting it. He's been posting it in my chat and in my Facebook group many times.
Dewan, I'm dying.
Dewan is refusing to embrace and receive, and that's okay. I understand people have connections to certain actors.
I have an idea.
What's that?
I have an idea. Dewan, you can print out a picture of Krista Allen's face and put it on a straw, and every time Taylor shows up on screen, you can just pop that up and just move it around the screen.
Oh my God, you're so funny. That's a good point. Angela B. Ron Moss and John McCook are only 8 years apart, and they were playing father and son.
Right.
That is true.
Good point. Go ahead, Bree.
This show has had a lot of different recasts. I mean, look how many times they recasted Thomas. And you have Matt Atkinson, who's 34? Mm-hmm. And technically the Thomas character should be at 40. But these actors are just taking a job, and I want to give this actor a chance because we've been asking for the Taylor character to be back, so she can be around her daughter or around her kids, so Steffy can feel like she has somebody. So I'm just happy that Taylor is coming back. I've never seen this actress before. I've never seen her work, so she'll be kind of like fresh for me. And probably to some other people as well. But I hear that she's a decent actress. So I'm willing to give her a chance. It's just a matter of what they're going to do with Taylor's character. And I would like to see her paired with other actors too. Because with Krista, we were hoping that she would get with Deacon or get with Bill. Just because of the different, energy or different type of version of Taylor that she brought to the table. And I would just like to see what this new actress would do. And I understand the age thing. I know that people want to have someone closer to Catherine Kelly Lang's age. And at first I was feeling that way as well, because that makes perfect sense. Because technically Hunter Tylo and Catherine Kelly Lang are the same age. But if they're hiring on people to give us the character, for me, I'm going to at least see what she can do and see what happens with the storylines going forward. I want to see Taylor's reaction to Paris and Thomas getting engaged, her reaction to Hope, her reaction to what's going on over at Forrester for Steffy, and the fact that Brook is sharing a co-CEO position. I wanted to see them continue on with the story. Same way, if Matt Atkinson decides he's not coming back, once again, we don't know, recast Thomas. I want to see the stories continue.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's interesting that you were saying that Thomas should be 40 years old. The show started in 1987, which would only put them at 37. And so that's why it's hard. And even though they Sorod twice Thomas, twice Steffi and twice Thomas, Because originally, when they were born on screen, which I brought up over the past few days, um, Thomas was born on screen as a baby, January of 1998, and Steffi, September of 1999. Which, if they did not Soror them, they would be 26 this year and 25. Now there was a couple of Sorors that aged them a little bit further, than what the actual age that they were actually born on screen. So you can never technically kind of match ages with characters and actors and actresses because it's just not going to work. I mean, with kids like Thomas, like Bree said, he should be 40, right? But the show Inception started in 1987. If he was to be 40, technically the show would have had to start in 1984, and that didn't happen. So, and I agree with her. He should be 40 based on the way that they Sorod him, but it just doesn't make sense when they didn't come on into the late 1990s. So I think we should just let it play out, see how the roles happen. We had the same issue when Krista came along, and people was like, no, 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 she'll never be Hunter Tylo. She won't fill Hunter Tylo's shoes, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody started to love her. And, well, there were some people that didn't. I did see some comments. And then when, of course, everything happened and went down in December, everybody was freaked out. Bring back Taylor. Where is Taylor? So let's just see what happened. A lot of you guys, like me, I'm hoping that they don't throw her back into a triangle with Brook and Ridge. I would rather for her to have come back with a new man in her life. Personally. Even if she didn't get with, Bill or Deacon or somebody like that, because, right now, Shekon is married. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Poppy and Bill thing. I guess we'll have to see. That's a separate storyline. But I would like to see her come back with a whole new man, in my opinion, and make Ridge jealous for a change. Why not?
That's a good point. And I was going to say that recast is just part of soaps, just in general. Hope is a recast as well. And Annika is doing her version of Hope. Is actually more entertaining than it was. No offense to Kim Atula, it was just probably the material that she was given, but there's clearly a difference between the Hope before and the Hope that Annika brings. So we don't know what this actress is going to bring to the Taylor character. And it could be fresh. It could be something even, something we might love separately. I felt the same way when they recasted the Phyllis character with Gina. And then I love Gina's portrayal of Phyllis. And I also love Michelle. So I can't pick between either which one. So as long as they continue that character, I'm happy with that. I'm just happy that Taylor's coming back so Steffy can have some family.
That's the other thing. Right now, Hope, I'm glad you brought that up, Bree. Right now, Hope has her mom, Katie, Donna. She has her brother. She has her new cousin back on screen, Will. She got all the Logan family there. Thomas is gone. Phoebe has been long gone. All of her aunts through Stephanie and Eric's kids, Kristen and, all of them, nowhere to be found. She has no on-screen girlfriends or hanging out buddies or anything. And Ridge is teetering between trying to, let her know how much he loves her and hanging out with Brook. And RJ, even though that's her brother too, he's he's more of a Logan than anything. And
especially after this week. Especially after this week.
Especially after this week. You know what I'm saying? So she needs somebody. And I even brought up, bring other women, business women on, so she can have a girlfriend to talk to. Even Thomas had a friend before Vinny got ran over by Bill and Liam. Well, he threw himself in front of the car,
Yeah.
but he was still Thomas had a friend.
Right. Well, and two, not only that, so not only is it like Logansville, now this Logan is trying to home in on Steffi's marriage.
Exactly. And
it's like, what? You're the one who didn't want to be involved with somebody with a divided heart. You really think that he's not going to be thinking about Steffi no matter what happens? I mean, give me a break. Look at her. You're not going to just get over that.
yeah, I mean, and then the other thing about, even though he's devoted to Steffi, he still teeters on this friendship with Hope.
I hate that.
You know what I'm saying? And so, who does she? I wish she had like a situation with, on The Young and the Restless. We talk about this all the time, like the Sally and Chloe friendship, or the Sally and Chelsea friend. Is it Chelsea and Chloe friendship? You know, they got folks to talk to. Audra is now friends with Sally. You know, she needs that type of some girlfriend that she can talk to, or like, I mean, and her mom is coming back, which is great. But even throw in a woman friend that's not coming from for her husband. Maybe she got a man already too, and
Where's that chick with the kid that came over for the play date? That tall blonde chick from the talk. Throw her back in the mix. Put her, see if she can really do the job of the acting job, and let her live in the house next door, and they can, Steffi can have a friend.
Well, the talk is going off the air in the next 4 months, so.
Well, she's gonna need a job. There you go, CBS. Make it happen. This woman has a family. Her husband passed away in real life. Give her a job. Get her on the soap.
Right.
You know what? That's a very valid point, Trish. I can see them bringing her back on because, like you said, she does need a friend. She needs somebody to kind of vent to. The only other person I could think of was Lee, because they hate the same people and they have the same personality.
Mm-hmm.
Lee is so, I think Steffi has so much a better personality than Lee. Steffi can joke around. She's so much fun. She can go hiking. She can jump off a side of she base jump. She can ride motorcycles. She's fun. She goes to the beach. She goes to the mountains. She hikes. She exercises. Lee is just mean. Like, I don't know how, can Lee really be anyone's friend? She's so judgmental. And I know Steffi's judgmental of the Logans, but Lee's just judgmental. I don't know.
They share the same hatred for Sheila, and Lee is going to be pro whatever is going to make Finn and Steffi stay together. So I can see her, and she also doesn't. She even told Finn to stay away from Hope too. That's why I feel they have this similar mindset. Not similar personalities, but they have the same controlling, I won't say controlling, the same, dominating, persona.
They just think that they know that they're right. And in some things they are right. And in other things they're overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Yeah, so, I honestly would, and Steffi looked very happy that her mom is coming back, because she needs that somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Right now, she don't have that. She can't talk. She don't, even if she was going through something, who could she talk to on the show? I guess there's Brook might listen, but Brook,
no, there's no trust. You can't trust that.
Right.
So I always think about, whenever you think about the way the characters are set up, there was always opportunity for friendships. And Stephanie Forrester and Sally Spectra were friends. So why couldn't Steffi and Sally have been friends? I think they really missed a huge opportunity there with those two.
I think they were friends towards the end, when before Sally had
her illness.
Yeah, because she was even working over at Forrester Creation. So they eventually did turn it around, even after Sally was kissing Liam. But I agree with you. Like even Sally and Stephanie were friends towards the end, but there needs to be like a balance where some of the major characters are able to bounce off their frustrations, and she can't even do that with her own husband without him putting his 2 cents in and says like, well, you need to see Hope's side, or like, oh, well, Hope isn't that bad, or this isn't that bad. Like, just let her vent.
I don't need to see Hope's side. I need for you to stop speaking up on behalf of Hope is what I need. I need you to just listen and go, I understand. And then not go and visit Hope in some other office or accept her coming through the door at your office or walking in through our door at our own house if I'm not here. Like, that's what I need from you.
Yeah, and he still haven't told Steffi that woman clearly tried to come on to him.
Absolutely. I mean, and, you know, I don't care what anybody says. Steffi did not get into those kisses with Liam. She should have already told her husband about it. She hasn't. I get that, but this is so much worse.
Yep, so.
I actually think that she told him about those kisses.
Who?
To be honest. I think that she told him off screen because, like, she told him about all the stuff that Liam was saying about, like, he's not stepping up as a man, he needs to to try to get rid of Sheila, and that, you know, that he's not going to make any effort when it comes to Sheila. Like, she told Finn all of that. And even Finn was like, look, my wife told me everything, or told me all the stuff that you've been saying. So I would not put it past her to keep those kisses to herself.
Well, she told Liam to keep him to that whole. I even put that video on my Instagram where she told him, we're not going to ever speak about this ever again.
Oh, yeah. She didn't want it to happen, and she doesn't want to think about it.
Yep, she wanted that in the past. She didn't even want to bring it up again, period. I don't think she told Finn. She told him about other stuff. But them kisses, no. Yep. So, go ahead, Bruce.
He could have told he could have told his wife that her enemy is actively trying to pursue him, and that she was right. Yep. And now that he sees that, he could be like, look, she tried to come on to me, she failed miserably, and I was not even interested. I even told her that nothing was getting up. So, but I thought you should know.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He should have said something. Something. Yep. Because even if she didn't bring up the kisses, she did tell him that Liam was pressing up on her. Not physically, but, you know.
Yeah. He was up in her business.
Right, up in the business, trying to talk to her, trying to undermine their marriage. He knew all that from her. So he could also return the favor and say, hey, your girl is trying to undermine our marriage. She tried to come on to me, blah, 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 blah. And it's going to happen again next week. And if Steffi don't walk into it, is he going to say something to her about that situation? Probably not.
He probably won't, and his reasoning will be, I didn't want to make things worse between the two of you. It's already so tenuous and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, because he was scared to tell his wife about the Sheila being released, too. He's like, I didn't know how to tell you.
Exactly.
Yep.
He's scared of that
but he had no problem telling Hope, though.
Right, but he's scared of... Is he scared of Steffi?
I don't know. I don't know if it's...
Go ahead. Who was
No, go ahead, Trish. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, I don't know if it's so much that he's scared of her, or it's just that he knows the wrath it will bring, and he just doesn't want to hear it or deal with it. Maybe it's not fear as much as he just doesn't really see it as an actual problem, so he just doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I got you.
I think that he's just scared of not getting any.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was trying to get some this week, and she was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. We can take our time. I think he's just tired of not getting some. So maybe if he says something to her about it, she knows she's going to cut him off for good.
Let me ask y'all a question about that scene, because they reconfirmed once again how solid they are. They went through their whole... Finn talked about the whole history of how they first met. Is this a prelude to the bottom falling out of that relationship?
It has been set up in the like before, but I hope not.
What you think, Bree? Bree? Are you on mute?
I'm sorry, I put myself on mute.
Oh.
I think ever since the Sheila thing, I thought the bottom was falling out. It's just slowly falling out at a dismal speed. So I think once she finds out that Hope is trying to pursue him, I'm not sure if it's going to break them up unless he fully goes in and actually sleeps with her. He would have to take one of Poppy's men for that to ever happen.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So I mean, and she's still fantasizing. I mean, she was so deep in a fantasy when Katie walked in on her. She was flushed, and I mean, some people actually thought that daydream was hot. I seen some of the comments. Huh? What'd you say, Trish?
I didn't say anything.
Was that you, Bree?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, I don't know. Something cut into, maybe it was a feedback or something. But she was in a whole daydream, and it was so hot and intense. When Katie walked in, she was flushed. And, he came in there talking about, let's get the blood flowing. And, he was looking at her all intensely and whatnot in her fantasy. Now, there were some people that thought that was pretty hot. Did you think that fantasy on that time was hot?
It was lukewarm for me.
Okay.
Because she's had fantasies about Thomas that were hotter, and it was all in her head. And this right here, whatever she has going on with Finn, it just didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
I'm just not into it at all. No. Because I'm just and whenever the rabid, like, absolutely hate the Forresters, only love the Logans fans are like, get her man, Hope. I'm like, why would you want that for Hope? Like, this is a guy that's going to be another shared team. Like, why do you want this double dipping stuff? Get a new man or have Thomas come back or whatever. But why? So you can stick it to Steffy, really? So then you're going to be connected to this woman even by another connection? Like, now it just becomes about the fact that you're obsessed with this woman. Mm-hmm. You're obsessed with this woman's husband, and you no longer stand for any of the integrity, ethics, morals, or values that your Hope for the Future collection has. So if I'm the CEO of the company and I find out about this, you're fired for breach of moral responsibility. There's more morality clauses in all of this. Not that they all wouldn't be fired because, well, I mean, there's a bunch of hoes in Forrester Creations. But, I mean, this chick is crazy. What is happening? Why do you want this for Hope? I don't understand it. Make it make sense.
Yeah. The only thing with that, and this is why Hope has her nose up in the air and thinking that she's untouchable, is because she knows that she can go to her mom. She knows she can go to Rich. She knows she can go to Eric. And her job will still be saved there. So even if Steffy were to say anything, it really wouldn't do much. Even with Steffi's ownership, it wouldn't do anything because Steffy has everybody's ear who would hear her. Mm-hmm. And that's why she feels like, especially with her mom, I guess, sharing the seat with Steffy. Because he even said that Rich is still co-CEO. I'm so confused with that. But just the fact that her mom's at a top level position and bringing in money, she feels that she herself, being her mother's child, is untouchable.
Yeah, she does. And I want to see her fall so hard and so far. And I just really need this character to rock bottom.
I heard that.
It'll be fun to watch. Like, this kind of attitude and everything, it's like, no, it'll be really, really fun to watch.
And if my thing is, if Rich finds out, he's going to come down on Finn. He won't even really come down on Hope.
That is true. He already questioned every decision he make with the situation with Sheila and calling him stupid and remember all that stuff back late last year. except when he saved his father's life, he backed off. And
Of
then he went right
course.
back to calling him stupid when it came to the
Right.
Sheila situation. So, yeah, he would definitely blame him over Hope. You're the one that's married to my daughter. You could have
Right.
said no. Which, I mean, is partly right, but she's the initiator. So, speaking of somebody that need to find a new man, maybe Luna need to find a new man because her man.
Seriously, are you serious with RJ right now, writers? That guy is. He reminds me of that one friend in school that works really, really hard to get close to you, and then you finally let him in, and you tell him one thing, and then it's everywhere, and you're like, God, I knew I never should have trusted you.
Yeah, so how all that started, we came on to Monday's episode from last week because last week, Friday, Luna found the backpack in the apartment and she confronted her mom. Her mom was like, I don't know where these letters, I mean, where this come from. Now, Bree did peep a discrepancy this week that was very interesting. Yeah, you caught that. Bree, break down that discrepancy that you heard her say earlier this week versus what was said today.
I'm trying to remember.
So
That
it was about
was
her saying today, I've never seen that backpack until you showed it to
right.
me. Right.
Early this week. She said, "What are you doing with that?" And then she was saying, like, "Oh, I've seen the I know that's Tom's bag. I know I've seen the letters. I've seen everything. I sent everything back." And then again, today's episode, she's like, "I don't even know. I've never seen that backpack before." So either you've seen it or you haven't. Because when you were with Tom, he even showed you his backpack and pulled out those same letters in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen it. You immediately recognize what that whose backpack that was. That made absolutely no sense to me.
So do you think that that was purposely put into script to make her sound disingenuous, or do you think that that was a writer's flaw?
It's hard for me to even determine that.
Right.
I'm going to say it's a writer's flaw for now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
And there's been a couple of writer's flaws thus far with this whole storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But she's seen this backpack before. He pulled out that backpack and showed her those letters in front of her face. And her reaction when she looked at that backpack earlier this week, she was like, "What is that doing here? Luna, answer me." And then she was like, "Oh, I haven't, I don't know how that got here." And then now, today's episode, she's like, "I've never seen that before."
Until
so
you
it's like,
showed
which
it to
is
me.
it?
Right, because she did see the letters. She saw the backpack or whatever. I agree with that. I think it's a writer's flaw as well. I mean, the continuity, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? The lack of continuity, I should say, with that whole statement. It just doesn't make sense. And then she says, we got to keep this between us. So a lot of folks, there were some people that kind of understood why she was doing what she was doing, whereas others, there were some people on social media that was thinking like, why won't you just go straight to the police and say something, right? The only problem with that is that they don't know how it got there. So if you take it in, you might as well just put yourself in handcuffs because they're going to be like, look, we've been looking for this evidence. You claim that you don't know how it got in your apartment. How do we know you're telling the truth? Boom. We got to hold you for questioning or, whatever to investigate this. They don't have any facts yet. Who's that? Trish?
Right. And there's also, whenever you do, you pick it up and you carry it into the police station after you've looked in and found the letters and touched the letters and put them back, whether you put it there or not, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to test for fingerprints, and you're screwed because your fingerprints are all over it because you looked in it to see whose it was and what it was doing there. So whether you did it or not, you're going down.
Yeah, and RJ put his fingerprints on them letters.
Right? You big dummy.
And
Oh,
I appreciated Luna's like line of questioning too. She was like, "Well, who has access to our apartment? Only you and I had the key to this house."
right.
And it's just, and I'm glad that she's like, well, I could understand you wanting me to be Bill's daughter for a lot of different reasons because you have something to do with, like, I'm glad that she's at least asking the right questions. She didn't completely jump on her mother's bandwagon with that, because all of this is incredibly sketchy. And unfortunately, writers, we have not seen anybody behind the scenes, like Trish was pointing out earlier today, where they were putting something in a drink, or like, while they're having a family moment, the perpetrator is the one who's planning their next sheen to try to unalive somebody. We haven't seen anything. All of the evidence is pointing to Poppy and only Poppy. Even so, even in her own house, and you have in the writing saying like, well, no, where the daughter is saying, hey, no one has access to our place except for you and me.
Well, I mean, when somebody is breaking into your place, they're not going to have a key. So, whoever is trying to set her up, they got in there some kind of way. And that building is empty. They're the final apartment that's still occupied or got stuff in it before the demolition. So, whoever snuck in, and I'm assuming there's no cameras in there if they're getting ready to destroy the building, they obviously was able to get in, slide in that building, maybe use something to get into, whoever got black gloves or whatever that put the stuff in the drink. Somebody got into that place, got access illegally. So, and then planted that bag there, because I truly don't think she did it. I just don't. And like I
No,
said, if they do make her the guilty person, then you did a horrible summer mystery. It's no mystery.
absolutely.
If you're going to point the spotlight on the one person, because that's the purpose of it, you supposed to confuse the audience and make the storyline so convoluted so they can't figure it out. They might point a direction, but they usually pivot and show you who exactly the perpetrator is. But if this is Poppy, then y'all don't know how to write mysteries. This is no mystery. You've been telling us all along who it was.
And that's where, for me, it's her. I've really been thinking it is her. Um, After this week, I'm all over the place. I really don't know, because this woman has had a history of lying. She even lied in regards to how if she knew Bill or she didn't know Bill. When she saw Bill, she's like, oh, I don't know you. And then all of a sudden, months later, this is the love of her life. She's been waiting for him, and this, that. And this woman has a history of lying, even lying to her daughter's face. It's so for me, I'm like, I wouldn't put her past her to lie to her daughter, lie in her daughter's face again, especially if it keeps her out of handcuffs. And we've seen like all these different, cutaways of like all these other characters, but like that'd be like one scene and that's it. We see nothing but cutaways where she is like off looking and off making threats and saying like, I'll do everything to protect you and protect, she keeps reiterating the Spencer life is our new life. That is our family now. And I'm like, you don't have to reassure your daughter of that if you are confident in those DNA test results, But if people are questioning that, or if there's like questions surrounding that, I can see her being desperate enough to try to make sure no one goes back and revisits her paternity results again. So it's just up in the air for me.
So, I know you said you think Poppy might be it, but you're kind of confused about it. Trish, who do you think could have done it?
I mean, I kept thinking like Jack. They brought him back. There's really, when they go back to the scene at the bar that night, they did the shot of Jack, they did the shot of Lee, they did the shot of Justin, they did the shot of various characters that didn't make sense. So I don't know who did it, But what I do know is that if they make it be Poppy, that is absolutely the laziest, most unthoughtful. Can you say thoughtless for this one? Just unprovoking mess of a story, because it's never in any real good story. It's never the one that everything's absolutely pointing to.
Right.
It's never that person, and not ever. And so, I mean, is it? Can y'all ever remember a storyline where it was so obvious it was obvious? I don't ever remember seeing that in any Murder, She Wrote, in any Alfred Hitchcock. So I don't think it was Poppy. I think a throwaway character that it would be Jack, because he's the real father. I don't think it's Finn. I don't want it to be Finn. I hope it just stays Bill. But I mean, the only one that could have changed the paternity test would have been Lee. How would she do that?
So here's the thing about Jack, though. He wants to protect her at all costs. He told her that.
Right.
And next week's, if you saw the first half of the preview for next week, Baker found her mint can. So whoever this is feels that Poppy is dispensable. Who's the only character who would send her up the river is the question.
Well, Lee doesn't really care for her sister, but I don't think she would want to send her to prison, because she even said to Katie, that's just not, she's not that person. So why would you make it be Lee then? I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer, you guys. I'm stumped.
Yeah, so if I'm gonna set Poppy up by planting the evidence at her house, planting, and let's just say it's not Poppy for right now, for just the example of this conversation, it's not Poppy, but somebody's setting her up. They planted evidence at her house with the backpack, and now the Baker also found her mint can. Who has that much of a vendetta to come after her like that?
Exactly. And they haven't shown us any scene or any cutaway scene where we know that somebody is like watching all this play out and, is planning their next move on another victim. We haven't seen anything. All of it has been like literally pointing towards Poppy. And the threats that she's making, like, look, you better stop that. You better, if you don't stop, I'm going to do such and such. Like, it's all been pointing literally at this woman. And it makes it difficult for me not to think, like, okay, so I guess they're saying that it is her. Because, like, if we think about years back, I mean, that's kind of how they did Sheila, too. When we found out, yeah, it was Sheila. We know it was Sheila who did it. I can't see it being Lee at all. And I can't really see it be Jack either.
Well, I don't think it's Jack.
I can't see it being... Like, someone would have something to gain from all of this.
So some people are saying, what if it's Luna?
No, because that girl was like, if that were the case, then she deserves an Oscar for them tears that she was crying, seeing the bag, seeing the letter, seeing all of that.
Right.
So, I can't see it being her. People were saying it was Will. I'm like, how? Cannot see it being Will, because I'm like, I don't think, because Katie just learned about those mints and everything too, so how would he know that those mints were not really mints,
Right.
Could it be
and
RJ?
know about Tom? But I don't know, it's just a mess.
Could it be RJ?
Oh, but why?
He's pissed off and not got over. Just say he's upset about what happened with those original mints.
But enough to unalive two people, though?
Yeah, it's whoever this is. They also not only setting her up, but also got rid of Tom and Hollis.
Yeah. And the only other person I can think of that would be diabolical to do this would be Sheila. And I know that they arrested her and sent her off to jail without any evidence. But I mean, if this was like a whodunit, that would be like a huge shock because I mean, she would have connection to all of the moving players within all of this. And she's just now learning about that whole thing with Poppy. So I wouldn't put it past her to sneak in since she has she has the career history to do all this. Like, and kind of like we were saying, give her redemption. I don't know. This is such a mess of a mystery. Like, we're not getting any clues. This is like the worst episode of Columbo.
Right?
Now, Jenna said, suppose it was someone from his past. Wait. Oh, no, here it is. Could it have been another woman that Tom dumped for Poppy?
That could possibly be true, but like we're almost 3 months into all of this, and we haven't seen a trickling of nothing, a hint of anybody. We only know it's a male or female at this point.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with what you all was saying earlier. We haven't seen anybody lurking. It's just been focal point Poppy.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and that comes down to writing a good mystery. So, for those who follow this channel, myself and Bree do a show on Wednesday nights called Sisters. Now, there is a murder mystery that's happening over there because one of the main antagonists, had a lot of people not happy with him, and he just got murdered on Wednesday night. And so we're also about to indulge ourselves into a whole nother mystery over there. But they made it where everybody had an axe to grind for this person.
Ooh. Exactly.
I mean, this is the guy that cheated with his friend's girl. This is the guy that also attacked one of his clients' fiancés, and the guy is not happy and the fiancé is not happy. That's different. This here, I don't know what they're doing.
Because we don't even know the motive for the people that they wanted to highlight. Like, Jack doesn't really have a motive because he said he'll do whatever he can to protect her and Luna. Lee doesn't really have much of a motive unless we found out that she actually slept with Tom.
Exactly.
But not Tom, Jack. But even still, she was still defending her sister and still penning it on Sheila. Justin has barely been on the show for us to know what any of his motive is. We're surprised he's still friends with Bill at this point.
Right.
So it's like, if someone would have an axe to grind by now, we would have seen something by now. This is a unnecessary mystery. Yeah, in my opinion.
And it's going on too long without those types of clues. It makes it more interesting when you have the lurking and you have a shadowy figure standing around, maybe watching Katie and RJ.
Yeah, something. I mean, give us something to make us think, ooh, is that a man's hand? Or, is that really Luna? You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
They show you a shoe size. It's a type of shoe. Is that a woman's shoe, a man's shoe? Is it a big foot, a little foot? And you can kind of tell what they're aiming toward in the shows with the clues. But we're not getting anything. And that it's, again, I would love to be in the room with the writers and understand what is the reasoning behind these directions?
Right.
Because they don't add up. That's Brad Bell. I can't really put it on the writers. He approves the scripts and the direction he wants the show to go in. Or like production. Like this is why I do not have faith that the writers are going to make it a big thing. I feel like they're pointing it in the direction of the person we should be looking at. I think it could possibly be Poppy. And because it hasn't really been anybody else, not even a hint of anybody else. Nothing.
I mean,
and what would be the motive?
I mean, I used to watch a lot of SVU, Okay, and usually with SVU, you're trying to figure out who's the perpetrator, and they use cryptic messages. Somebody could sense something in a cryptic writing, and like, oh my God, who is this from? Something to even make it more mysterious, just from the energy of it all. You know what I mean? So we're not getting that. And to make matters worse, you got people like RJ and Katie being messy.
Yes.
Absolutely messy and irresponsible. And quite frankly, I really hope that this just causes Luna to dump him.
A lot of people are saying after yesterday and today, this man has officially ended his relationship, because if Poppy isn't, like a lot of us think, but if she isn't the perpetrator, you didn't put your mama. Well, first of all, Luna did tell, she spilled the beans, but you know, this whole situation with RJ escalating it over to Katie, talking about, she said don't tell nobody, but I just had to tell you. Really?
Right. Mm-mm. No.
He can't hold water, can't hold air. You cannot trust him with anything. As soon as he saw Katie, he could have kept it to himself and picked up the pizza and been like, oh, okay, Katie, you're here trying to get more information. Like, okay. He's like, I had to tell you. You have to know this.
And
the thing is, yes. And the thing is, he was just going off on Katie last week for her assumptions. I'm like, the assumptions that you gave her. And you fed her the information about the mints. So she went off of that.
Exactly.
And now you're giving her more to go off of. And then he had the nerve to say they don't tell anybody. This is Katie. Katie.
Right.
I mean,
she can't hold water too. It's a Logan thing.
Right. He was the one going around, but see, he could never hold water with his own relationship. He was walking around talking about how he took Luna's V card. He was telling his mama, he was telling Hope and Thomas, you talking to your brother about your girlfriend and y'all sexual relationship. I mean, then with the whole Zende thing, he told his mama, okay, I give him that, because you got, you know, it's his mama. But she kept it a secret all this time. And then you went and told Katie about them doggone mints last week, which technically also implicates Zende in this by you running your mouth.
Yep.
And then now you brought up not only did you bring up the backpack, but you also said that Poppy was there having the conversation with Tom the night that Tom passed.
And that shit was dangerous last week. Like, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he expected her not to say nothing.
Yep. Not to say a thing. And then, you know, when Katie is just way out there in her mind, when she can actually have a civil conversation with Sheila Carter.
Right.
Most of those Logans, when would you ever see a Logan have a calm conversation as a collaboration over a subject with Sheila Carter?
No.
That's how obsessed she is with this. She didn't even think twice about talking to Sheila.
Yeah.
Steffy can't even be in the same room or the same universe with her.
Exactly. This right here, this makes no sense, y'all. I'm so lost in all of this. Like, I was really excited for this murder mystery, and now it's like everyone's spilling the beans, and
and we lost Hollis for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting, I'm fatigued with the storyline, because I'm at the point where I'm like, can we just figure out who this is so we can move on? I'm over it at this point almost, because it's gotten messy, it's gotten out of control, and you're not giving us, like you say, clues or little extra mystery, cryptic messages, something. I mean, remember what happened with Victor when he tried to throw everybody off and he wrote this snake with all these words in it? Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cryptic.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
just wish there were like scenes where we get to see if someone was working and just like observing everything, like we would see with other shows where they get to
right.
see all of this stuff play out. We've seen nothing.
Mm-mm. Yep.
So
And then after the
I
conversation with Deacon and Sheila, that prompted her because Sheila mentioned the backpack. And she was like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, I gotta call Chief Baker now." I'm like, "You don't know what's true and what's not, ma'am."
They got this man's number on speed dial, both Katie and Steffi. I'm like, when did you guys rely on Chief Baker for anything?
And then she runs over there to tell Bill about the paternity, the letters, the backpack, and Bill was like, "I know all of this. What's the problem?"
She sounds like a lunatic.
She didn't think that Poppy would have told Bill about all of that.
Right.
But unfortunately, she did. And she was looking like a whole fool. The part that he don't know about is, well, you know what? Did you see that she brought up them doggone mints and he downplayed it?
Yep.
Yep. He
I'm like, wait a
downplayed
minute.
that.
Because I was worried about, I'm like, oh yeah, when Bill found out about them doggone mints and what happened, he's like, yeah, I know she was taking them mints and she stopped taking them. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll move on.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bill joked with her about the mints when she took one at Il Giardino.
Mm-hmm.
And months and months and months ago, whenever they were first going out, she pulled the mints out and took them in. And he said, "Do you want a drink?" And she was like, "No, thank you. I have my mints." And he was like, "Oh, okay, okay."
Mm-hmm. Now, what would be crazy is if they arrest Poppy next week and she's at the police station, and then something happened to Katie, or something happened to somebody else.
Yeah.
Was she
Then
at the party in the clip?
I think so. All of them. Shoot, Liam was there. Um, all of the Foresters, I think, was there at that dance party, or that
Okay,
dance
so
party, or what a celebration, or whatever you want to call it.
so then something would have happened to Katie at that party then. But even still, it's the only part that he doesn't know about is the bag had popped up over at her apartment. That's the only part that he doesn't know. And that's the
Right.
thing that she wanted to keep secret from him too.
Well, he knows that the letters exist because she told him about the letters that he wrote, which was, of course, in the backpack.
So why would she hide? I mean, in his mind, it'll be like, I don't know why the backpack was there, but she told me about the letters, so I'm not really worried about the backpack.
Right. Because Tom, I mean, he fully knows that Tom was saying that he was the father. I mean,
Right.
Poppy gave him all of that information ahead of time, which doesn't make sense for her to be that person because that part could implicate motive. Why would you tell it to him if you did something to that same guy?
Right.
Did she say to him that she met with him the night of his unaliving?
That
I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember. Let me ask
Because
somebody
that
in the chat. Hey, you guys, did Poppy ever bring up that she talked to Tom before he passed that night?
because I think she was saying that she tried to stop him or tried to clear up the accusation saying that Bill was the father, but Luna was shocked that she had met up with him the night of his unaliving, and I'm wondering if Bill knew that information or if he would be new to that too.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember her telling him about the fact of the paternity and how Tom was saying and thinking that he was the father and he wrote all those letters and I never responded back, which even if Katie said there's a backpack with letters, he's going to be like, well, she told me about the letters. I
But
mean, mm-hmm.
I mean, but that same backpack popped over at her house. And I think that the only two things that he would know is that the book bag is over at her house, and the fact that she met up with him the night of his unaliving. Because remember, she said she had to run an errand that night, and she didn't tell him where she was going. And I also found it really weird too that the thing with the morgue was probably the weirdest writing with this whole storyline. That she had to know how Hollis passed for her daughter's sake, but didn't want to inform her daughter where she was going to try to give her that relief. And I'm wondering if she even told Luna about that.
But wouldn't she also want to know why Tom passed too? If she actually was trying to cover her tracks with that, why ask about Hollis and not about Tom?
And then as soon as like Leah like confirmed her, she's like, "Oh yeah, I agree. It's probably Sheila." Like it was just weird for her to even show up there at a morgue when she could have made a phone call, or if anything, it would have pre-populated in like the news or like a news article like Tom's passing did. That's where it's just so weird. That was for me, that was like, that's very strange behavior. Like, who does something like that?
Yep.
Well, Jenna says, I think that Luna was going to tell Bill about the backpack when she walked in on Katie and Bill. Well, we'll never know now.
Yeah.
Because she was over there trying to call her a murderer.
Yeah. I know. Hopefully, they're listening. The writers are listening. Please, you can please give us something more to work off on.
Yeah, because I mean, all right, just say you take Poppy in, because obviously Chief Baker is going to take her in next week. Okay, now what's next? Are y'all going to give us something else? Anybody else going to be the creeper? Or are you going to be like, yep, I did it. Take me in. Then I'm going to give
And
you...
then we never see her again.
Right. I'm going to give you a big fat F on that one, and you're crashing and burning your ratings like you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So, screw up this murder mystery if you want to. Y'all renewal is coming up in March. So, if you want to crash and burn this whole summer mystery, the way to do that is to make Poppy the villain, and she's out the door, and we move on to another storyline. We're gonna be like, "What WTF? What the freak for?"
Right.
And you know what? They keep saying the apartment's about to get demolished. I think it makes me wonder how long the character Poppy's going to stay on, or if Poppy and whoever did it is going to actually meet up at the apartment and something's going to happen then.
Okay, well, I did see some behind the scene footage with Annika and her just in the offices working. They posted them today. So they're 4 to 6 weeks ahead. So I'm assuming Poppy is still there.
Okay.
So at least up until mid-September, late September, she's look like she's still working. So
okay. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws, you guys, because that's the only person I can think that's only the person you're pointing to.
mm-hmm.
There's nothing. Just like I don't know. I don't know.
I got nothing.
Casper did it. It's Casper.
Yeah,
but Casper was the friendly ghost.
Not so friendly no more.
Yeah, so I mean, this thing is getting messier and messier, and honestly, I'm ready for RJ and Luna to break up.
Me too. I've had it with that kid.
I just don't see the chemistry there. I'm sorry, I never have.
And he's a handsome guy, handsome young man.
Not a problem. The way that he has just been loose lips, sink ships all over the place. I'm not having it. I don't like that. When someone confides something in you, you keep your mouth shut and you let things play out. You talk them into doing the right thing, take the backpack in, call the authorities, do what you got to do. But you don't go run into your crazy aunt who has conspiracy theories.
Well, and it's even before that, he had told his mom about the stuff with the mints, and what happened with Luna. And he knows his mom already feels a certain way about Poppy as well.
Yeah. So the whole V card thing too. That was breaking. That was absolutely the worst breaking of her trust, because no one needed to know where she was in that part of her life.
Yeah, to me, that was him. Business.
Right. That was him basically like, look at me, I'm the one. To me, that just is so disgusting. You don't do that. You don't do that.
I agree. I didn't understand him running around Forrester telling her business like that. It's like, dude, be quiet. I mean, I think she got a little bit more level of maturity than you do.
Yeah, and she's not something to have been conquered.
Right.
That's just gross.
And I mean, the other thing with the situation with Zende, I mean, I just think they botched that up. I honestly think. And I know there's an age difference with the actor and actresses, because that was a conversation we had with the guy that plays Zende being in his late 30s, 36 I think he is, and Luna's in her early 20s. But I don't know. I want them to do better.
Yeah, I know.
Do better. Do not bring Taylor back into a triangle with Brook and Ridge. Hope daydreaming that's going nowhere. And then a murder mystery that is just so confusing with no extra clues. What are y'all doing?
And it's pointed at one person.
The only thing I've been enjoying, is the Brook bedroom thing. That's cool.
Honestly, I really enjoyed that too. I have to say, I was kind of in the beginning of it. I was like, are they really going to do this? Like, seriously? And there were for a lot of reasons I thought that, because Steffy had brought back the bedroom line, and it wasn't Brooke's bedroom; it was the bedroom line. And so, here you have her having done that in the last 7 years or however long it's been since that happened, and now Brooke's going to come back doing it, and Brooke is being forced on Steffy as the co-CEO. And so I just didn't like it for the mere fact that, again, it's the Logan show, and so here it is. Steffy's having to just basically do what's dictated to her by Ridge, who only owns 20% of the company. I mean, I guess it's just the whole absolutely having zero respect for the woman who happens to be your daughter, who brought the company back to the family, and you have zero respect for that, and you're allowing other people to speak about and to her with zero respect for the fact that she is the only reason that you have your 20%. How dare you?
Yeah, Hope don't respect anybody. Hope don't even respect Carter. Like I was saying earlier, how you going to kick the COO out of a business meeting with the CEO? Because you mad and want to talk about Steffi getting rid of your line because it's personal. No, ma'am, the numbers speak for itself.
It's crazy.
And even Carter said, I'm a numbers guy. He even tried to give her hard truth and facts. She want to make it all about Steffi.
Yep.
So, anywho.
So,
go ahead.
Maybe they should hire us as writers. I mean, you guys are shadow watching, I would assume. I mean, just hire, we could be a test audience before you, put it on air. I mean, we could help out a little bit.
Absolutely, we could. I mean, professionally, I'm an award-winning writer, and I've even for nonprofits, I've written sketch comedy and parody songs for all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, I could do it. I know y'all can do it because y'all are freaking funny and brilliant. I'd love it. Are y'all listening? Is anyone listening?
I bet you they are. I mean, they want. If you want to really know what the fans are thinking and talking, it is probably best for some of the representatives to say, hey, go over there and check out, you know, this space and see what they're talking about.
Yeah. Because we love the shows. I mean, we want the shows to continue in perpetuity. We love the shows. We love the characters. And we love the people who developed them. So thank y'all very much for the whole familial history and being icons in the industry and in the marketplace. But we really are having some issues lately with the inconsistencies, the non-continuity, and the just loss of real content that provides stories that make sense.
Right. You know, we got the gates coming up in about 3.5 months, and looking forward to that. Hopefully, we get some good content. We kind of got a little bit of characters and the name of the characters that's supposed to be, you know, the age groups, and also, yeah, so we got a little bit of background information. I guess it'll slowly come in on who the cast members are. We're waiting on that, but Bold, get it together. Get it together.
Right.
All right, did we cover everything on Bold so we can move to our other segments?
I think we dissected everything.
Yes, we did.
We totally did, yeah.
All right, so for those, how many people in the chat? About 130, I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, make sure you hit the like button. I think we got somewhere around 80 likes right now, so that's cool.
Nice.
Yay, thank y'all.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe and everything as well. Okay, so we have a few more segments, so we're not quite done yet, you guys. Here come the fun stuff. So we have our flip the script segment. So if there's a particular scene or storyline that you wish that you could change, this is where we flip the script. So what's your Y&R flip? What you guys got?
Oh my goodness! I actually wished when Lily told Billy to step down, I wish he had fired her.
Ooh.
So she had no choice but to crawl back to her brother.
Wow. Okay.
Bree, I love you. That was going to be mine. Now I have to think of something else.
We can share it.
Well, I definitely want to share that one with you because that is absolutely what I was thinking too. I was like, how dare she speak to him like that, even though he is a screw up? Like he literally is. He's got the say of the owner's shares. Like, what are you thinking? So that was crazy. The other thing that I would change is that I would just have Phyllis just not even go to their table. Just go to the bar and get a drink. Don't go to Jack and Diane's table. Just don't go. Don't go.
Yep. My flip would have been when Victor told Kyle, you need to go talk to Summer and figure this out. I would have had Kyle say, maybe you should talk to Summer and figure it out since you're the one that's behind everything that's going on. How about that?
I love it.
I mean, seriously, you're going to have him do all this legwork when you know the reason that your granddaughter is upset is because of you.
Right.
You're the mastermind and the puppet master behind all of that. So, but Kyle, of course, he's not going to say that to Victor, you know. What is your flip for Bold?
Oh my goodness. I can't even really think of a good one. I mean, the writing would be obvious, but I would say that instead of Katie going to Bill, I wish she had went over to Luna and Poppy's apartment, and that's where she would have met Luna and saw that bag instead of going directly to Bill.
Okay. What you got, Trish?
I wish Luna would have told RJ nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And just would have just left him out of it because she already knows that she can't trust him. So why would you tell him this?
Well, that I'll piggyback on what you just said because my flip was going to be her saying, listen, if I tell you what happened, I'm going to need you to keep it to yourself. Because I know what happened before and you went and told people. You tell this secret, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And see, that'll test his loyalty. Because
Yep.
either he'll keep it to himself if he don't want to lose his girl, or he just going to be,
I love him.
a loose lip sink ship type of guy. Yep. That's what I would have said. Listen, I'm going to tell you, but if you go and run tell this, we're done.
Yeah.
Alright. Everybody got their flips in? Yes. Okay. The next segment. Who's taking seats? This segment, for those that are new here, is if somebody really got on your nerves, they were doing too much, they need to go take several seats. Who's taking seats on Young and the Restless?
Kyle, Summer, Diane, Jack, Phyllis.
Wait, hold on. You can't take all of the peoples.
We wasted no time.
Right. Well, who taking a seat, Trish?
Okay, so I'll go ahead and say Summer and Kyle need to take seats.
Okay. All right, you, Bree?
I feel Lily and Phyllis can take a seat.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to need Victor to take a seat in front of his granddaughter.
For sure.
And because I mean, yeah, he's sitting up to tell me, and I know Bree was hoping that Victor was going to say, oh yeah, don't worry about it, I got this, on strong arm Kyle. He was like, I'll talk to him. No, you need to talk to her.
I mean, it is a soap. Like, come on.
Right?
Oh man. Okay, who's taking seats on Bold?
Hope and RJ, the brother and sister, can take a seat someplace on the Lulu Island where she's princess, and I guess he wants to be prince, or take her crown over there. But they both can sit there together by themselves.
For sure, and Katie can join them.
Mm-hmm. Who would I give a seat to this week? I mean, RJ is off. Y'all already got him in the seat. Y'all already got Katie in the seat. And you already got Hope in the seat.
The writers could use a couple of seats.
Yeah, that is true. The writing team could use definitely a couple of seats. I'll even throw Luna in there because you shouldn't have told RJ after knowing that he can't hold water.
I definitely agree.
I mean, you done went through this already with him, with the Zende and the mints and all this stuff and your V card. And, why would you tell him something like that? So, you know what, you need to sit back and think about whether or not you want to break up with him. All right.
Yeah.
Who's the star of the week on The Young and the Restless?
Honestly, the little boy who's playing Harrison. Every time I see him, I'm like, you giving little Douglas a run for his money. Okay.
He is hilarious. And his lines, he hit them on the mark. He's on point.
He is. He did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say on Young and the Restless, Sally.
Okay. Let's see. I would say that's gonna be a tough one. I'll give it to Michelle Stafford and Susan Walters because that fight was crazy.
That was funny.
It was funny. And they made it look good. I could imagine through the cuts they were cracking up.
Oh, for sure.
Especially if there was some bloopers in there. I bet they were rolling. But that fight was off the chain. So I'll give it to the two of those ladies.
I miss the bloopers. He used to post them online all the time. And they stopped doing that for both shows.
Because with a fight like that, you got to think on your toes, and it's got to come out on point and quick. And I can imagine that there were a couple of bloopers in there, and they were probably rolling. All right, start of the week on Bold.
Trying to really think hard about this
Right.
one. Actually, I'm going to give it. I'm sorry.
I am so sorry, Bree. You go.
I'm going to give it to Catherine Kelly Lang, and the fact that she's pulling off all this lingerie and her body's insane. Like, good for her.
I am not even going to name another person because that's who I was going to name. So I'm going to double down with you. And yes, KKL.
Yeah, I'll give you that one on there. I mean, the girl is 63 years old with a body like that.
Amazing.
Yep, 63. Oh, I think she just had a birthday a week or two ago. So
yeah, and she still rides horses. She still runs. She still swims. She still does bikes. She still does these. She's amazing. These women are amazing. She's not the only one that does that either. There's younger actresses coming up behind her that are doing it too. That are going to be every bit as in great shape that they are at her age when they get there. Yep. I mean, she's just been a really great role model to the other people that she works with in regard to staying in shape and her eating habits and her philosophy on life. If you follow her online, she just leads a really beautiful life, and she loves her family and she loves what she does. You can just see it.
Yeah, that's the same thing with Susan Walters and her husband Lyndon. No, I was talking about the husband and wife team. They always hiking. They're always bike riding and hiking. They are very active. And I kind of mentioned this on Wednesday. The 50 and 60-year-olds back in the day is nothing like the 50 and 60 and even 70-year-olds now. There's a lot. I live in an area where there's a lot of folks that are up out at 5 and 6 a.m., especially with the weather being warm here in the Midwest, where they're riding bikes, they're walking, they're running, they're doing all types of things, aqua classes, senior yoga, all types of things. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these folks are still active later in life, and that's a good thing. And these women, is a good thing. Yeah, these women like Catherine Kelly Lang and Eileen Davidson, Michelle Stafford, Sharon Case, who's Tracy Bregman. All of these ladies are active. You see them on Instagram. A lot of us on the panel follow them. They're out doing stuff
all the time.
Yep. All right, final segment. Pickle of the week. Young and Restless.
This is hard.
Phyllis. Because she knows, and she keeps reiterating how she's been in the custody situation. I understand that she wants to be in the good graces of her daughter. I think that's the only reason why she's participating in any of this. But she needs to rein her daughter in. And also, Harrison is not her only grandchild.
Nope. There you go.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't argue with that.
Nope.
Yeah. The pickle. I mean, just for the way he's acting and trying to pull the strings with everything and going after stuff that he let go of years ago, I'm just going to go ahead and say Victor this week, because I just got really annoyed with, the stuff that he was saying to Nate and how, if Lily doesn't get out of there, it's, too bad for her. And I'm just like, you don't have it yet. It's not yours. Like, how are you going to get Jill's, whatever gigantic percentage if she doesn't want to sell it to you? Like, that doesn't make sense. You don't just get to take someone's shares. Like, if they're in her name and not in like some kind of a holding company name that you're going to try to take over, I mean, you can't just take someone's shares. So, Victor.
Yeah. Do you guys notice that look like Victor is moving on now? He's focused on Billy. I thought he was going to try to decimate Jabot, and maybe that's what, with this glissade thing is supposed to do that. But Kyle is so caught up in this whole custody battle. I'm wondering, are they moving Victor away slowly from the Jabot thing? Because look like Jack and Diane are happy and they're doing their own thing. They don't look like they like scrambling. They still going to work every day.
But usually when you look that happy on a soap, that doesn't last for very long.
That's true. I agree.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
agree.
Go ahead, Bree.
No, I agree. I think he's just playing puppet masters with the Abbott men because he feels he can.
Oh yeah, Jack and Billy. Well, Jack gonna have a problem with Billy next week using the Abbott name, so that's a whole nother problem. Um, my pickle of the week, I agree with you, is Victor. I just, all this stuff can be avoided with this whole custody thing. If Victor just tells Summer, look, just back down. There's other stuff going on that you don't know about. But he's not going to say that. He's going to cover his tracks. Pickle of the week on Bold.
Katie.
I'm going to give it to Hope.
And you got Hope and you got Katie, Trish?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to give it to RJ.
Sure.
RJ, oh my God. Talking about
the Logan trifecta.
Yes. See, we did it.
And they're all her kids. Well.
Yep. Well,
not
Katie. Raise Katie a little bit because she was the older sister. So.
Yep, but Belinda put 2 pickles in the chat.
Too funny, Belinda. Oh my God.
I mean, I didn't know there was a pickle emoji that you could use, but I guess
I did not either.
She says, please stick 2 large sour pickles in Katie and RJ's mouth.
2 in each or 1 for each? Let's get technical with the counting.
Oh my God, I think that is the funniest thing ever. That caught my attention when I saw them 2 green pickles up there.
What's green and flies? Super pickle.
I guess. Trish, have you been drinking?
No, my 2-year-old nephew told me that years ago. It was adorable. It was really cute when he said it, but I mean, like I told you earlier, I'm 57.
You're so funny. All right, and we done with all our pickles, I think, right? We got them all out?
I think so.
All right, so that is it. We appreciate all of you guys. Also, stay tuned for the spoilers for the week of the 12th through the 16th. We are already in the middle of August. Time is flying. September be here. We'll be getting ready for Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas all over again. Look like we just did that. Time is
this year's almost gone and about to enter 2025. That is fast, you guys.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a crazy year. For sure. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. But that's why we do our soaps, because we try to break.
So we can forget all of that.
Yeah. How is it? The year is moving by fast, but the murder mystery isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. It's really bizarre. It's funny you say that because I've had multiple things in my life happen that way this year whereby it felt like it was going really fast except for this one little segment.
Yeah, they hit the mark last year when they did the summer love story or whatever you want to call it with Thomas and Hope on Bowl, and it hit the mark. It brought new viewers in. The ratings were soaring through the roof because of the chemistry that Matt Atkinson and Annika Noel had. And then they do this summer with this long drawn out mystery.
Yeah.
So, and then we don't have any. At least if Thomas was still around on a separate storyline, it might have would have been interesting and look forward to, because everybody they hate that Thomas is off screen. I know there's some rumors. People keep asking me about it, about whether or not he was secretly fired or whatever. I don't know. I can't confirm it as of yet, and I don't like saying things until I know for sure, So, But I've been seeing and hearing that, you know, across the board. So I don't know. We'll find out. I guess it would be. He's still in the credits. I saw his face in the credits, so I'm hoping he's still around. But I guess we'll have to see. I hope so too. And I'm looking forward to Tay Tay and seeing what she, you know, Rebecca Butt.
Me too. I want to see what she brings.
Yep, me too. All right, thank you guys. You all are so amazing. Make sure you like on the way out if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe and check out the other videos and the other platforms that the soap opera, well, the Soap Corner Talk is on. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend, guys.